to get your information. So the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to the spoon, to the spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to the spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to the spoon. You want to know what is happening in Morocco, to the spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to the spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to the spoon. Yeah, to the spoon. Yeah, to the spoon. You from Vonjama, Maryland, to the spoon. Yeah, to the spoon. If you eat kepa, gradually, my brother, to the spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to the spoon. Yeah.
Okay, folks. Good evening, good afternoon. Wherever you are this beautiful time. Welcome to another edition of the Spoon Talk on your radio and, of course, on your TV. So welcome to it. As usual, it promises to be very, very interesting and informative as well as analytical. My name is Yekezi Zubel. I'm sitting in this evening as your producer. So we will now join Dr. Richardson to kickstart the show. Dr. Richardson, how are you?
Yekezi, how you doing?
I'm okay. How yourself?
Good. Busy day today. Lots of running around. You know that this weekend is the CPP convention, so my phone's been ringing. I have company coming over. I had a cook prepared, make sure the house clean, make sure the kids got everything together. So it was a little hectic today, but I'm here. I'll be joined by my fellow panelists later because we've made a commitment to the Liberian people that we are going to present different information to them that we have been informed about, so that they will be, ready for the elections, the upcoming elections, October 10th, and also to just be more informed citizens. So this is where we are today, and I'm sure it's going to be a great evening. I want to say hello to all my Liberians, family member, friends, passionate lovers of Liberia. We appreciate you joining Spoon. It is because of you that we exist. It's you that enjoy the information that we send. So thank you for joining us. Yekezi, is your Friday going okay?
Yeah, sure. It's going okay. At least today, it was a little bit sunny in Monrovia, Liberia, as opposed to the past few days where we've experienced a lot of rainfall. So yesterday and today has been a little bit sunny in Monrovia.
It sounds like you're like me. You like the sun, huh? I guess I can't let no snow, I let no rain business. Me, I let sun. It allows me to be able to sit outside and get some D and all of that stuff. So
Sure.
I often hear you guys talk about the rain in Liberia. I guess it stops you from doing things, right?
Yeah, the rain is one thing Liberians are afraid of. Liberians are really, really afraid of rain. Like people commonly say here in Liberia man, not scared of gunsan, but it's scared of the rain. As soon as the rain starts falling, everybody goes, to take shelter and out of that, and it stops a lot of, basic activities, especially in the country where everybody hustling and the economy is already difficult. I mean, people go about hustling on a daily basis, and they are afraid of the rain, and they think that the rain is going to stall their hustle,
Mhm.
whenever it comes about.
Wow, in America, it's such a commercialized country. Nothing stops our hustle. But it's like we gotta go, snow, winter, rain, and especially when it's snow. I mean, they will plow the streets just for us to be able to go. If you are like an emergency worker, I forgot the name they call them, urgent workers, you got to go to work. Like the nurses, the doctors, they got to go. People who are essential workers, that's what they call them. And they will
Okay.
make sure, even if they got to pick them up from their homes, they will definitely, um, come and pick them
Yeah,
up.
yeah. So basically, I'm talking about, the businessmen and women. Yeah, the businessmen and women. A lot of Liberians are involved in a business. If you go to the market areas, the businesses are even more than the buyers. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
and most of those business are, just petty business. Most of them are, vendors selling outside, along the street, in the street as well. So whenever there is a rainfall, it affects their daily hustle.
Nothing stops the daily hustle in this country. Rain or snow, sunlight, people got to get out and go. You got to put in your time and your hours. And I mean, they will plow the road. They will be calling you. They have the essential workers, like I said, the nurses and doctors. That's a business. The hospital, it stays open. Business people will stay. The malls perhaps will be open for, maybe they will decrease their time. The malls is where we go shopping. The time, but or either they will ask people to come in for inventory. They will use that time to do something, So is really a commercialized country, capitalism at best. Today, for our guest, we're going to have Madam Edith Gonglo in studio today. She's going to be talking about a series of things. And of course, many people would like to know more about her brother, Councillor Tiawanse Gonglo's, run for the presidential race. So she's going to be sharing some light on that, as I'm sure also supported by Mr. Jeru and Councillor Lamin Pakoy. They all support Councillor Gunglo, so they will also be talking, about his endeavors to be the president for Liberia. Uh, we'll also be joined by Mr. Fagon. I'm coming on, and I believe Mo Ali, Daniel Sano, the panelists will be here. So I see Mr. Jerry is on. I'm just going to welcome you to the platform, Mr. Jerry. We're going to go to Yekesi to tell us what's in the news, the trending news today. And then you're going to help me welcome uh, my fellow Liberians to the show. Yekesi, what's in the news?
Yeah. Today, the standard bearer of the Liberian National Union Party, Dr. Clarence Moluba, finally announced his running mate in Grace Kwan. I mean, the name Grace Kwan has been around now, as the individual, Dr. Clarence Moluba, would have announced, and of course, he did that officially today at his party headquarters in Sinkhall on 16th Street. And, his program caused a little bit of traffic congestion in Sinkhall, because I was affected by that today, where a lot of his supporters were gathered along the Sinkhall Belt, particularly around the 15th, 16th, and 17th Streets area. So, yep, it caused little bit of traffic congestion. But yes, he did announce Madame Kwan, who is former superintendent of Mansorado County, as his running mate, and Madame Kwan overwhelmingly, accepted uh, the pronouncement today. And in her acceptance speech, because she's noted for, exposing a former lawmaker who, was discussing about corruption issues. She accordingly recorded that lawmaker and exposed the clip, and it was something that the lawmaker was criticized for. The lawmaker was heard on the clip on the tip that you ERE.
Mhm.
So she mentioned about that today. She said that this country is not UERE country. This country is a country, where Liberians, the ordinary citizens, must be empowered. Job opportunities must be provided for them so that they too can be able to, sustain themselves and improve their livelihoods. And also, uh, today, the office of the president um, kind of broke grounds today for the modernization of the D2S page, and is expected to be constructed in the next 3 months, according to Chokong Hui, who is the Minister of State without portfolio. So they were there today. They were seen there today. I did not see the president, but I did see the minister in video footage there at the D12 a spot page there in district number 16, and the grounds broken today, and so we saw citizens or residents of that district with placards thanking the president for thinking about them. And also the CDC today received an endorsement from the Liberia Kickball Federation. The Kickball Federation of Liberia did endorse the presidential bid of President George Weah today. And at that ceremony, I did see the presence of Sir Joseph, who, accepted the endorsement on behalf of the president. But according to them, the main reason because in the past, they have not been involved in this endorsement of politicians. But according to them, this time around, the reason why they have decided to endorse a politician because during the past years, whenever a president is elected, they are abandoned, they are neglected, they are not thought of. So this time around, they believe that endorsing a presidential candidate or hopeful, if that candidate wins the election, maybe they are going to be thought of. So basically, those are some of the trending national happenings.
Uh, Thank you so much, Yekasi, for your information. We appreciate you telling Liberian people what some of the trending news are. Couple of things that you said. I just had some thoughts while you were speaking. The first thing I want to also congratulate Grace Pan. I'm sure her name was out. He has been out here for a while, but I just want to congratulate her as another woman. I'm observing that women are becoming a part of many of the tickets. So it's something a new trend or something historical that's happening in Liberia, but I'm really liking it. Obviously, um, I think her history of exposing a lawmaker. I remember that so well because I believe Mary Brown was involved in that. It was during the Ellen administration. If I don't know if you remember that saga, where there was even the armed person. I don't know the armed sergeant of the chambers. One of the chambers, the House of Representatives, senator were also involved in that as well. Um, you know, this kickball business. I play kickball and I like the sport. Uh, they're they're endorsing because they want to be recognized. I wish they would have been recognized prior to making any endorsement. I think uh, they're an integral part of the sports uh, program in Liberia. So I don't know why they're not look. People don't look at them, but now they're endorsing so they can be recognized. That's an interesting thing. You gotta do something to be recognized, right? As opposed to people looking at you for what you have to offer to Liberia. If you offer sports and structure for Liberian women, you shouldn't be begging for recognition. But I know that's how our culture is. Mr. Jeru, let's welcome our audience, and then we'll also talk about what's on your mind as well. The viewers, they're very interested. They participate, so I really like having them on the show. They have their views as well. So you can start from wherever. I'm not even. You just go ahead and just pick anybody randomly, or
All right. Am I muted? No, I'm not.
no, we can hear you.
Okay. Want to say thank you very much to. Is it Inca G Padmo? It's a rescue boy child here again. I don't know what does that mean. Rescue boy child. Say Naomi Norman Dennis said, "Hi, my Spoon family. Oh, how you doing, Norman? We love you too. We are family members." Alfred Thomas says, "Where is Diamond? Why are you concerned about Diamond at this time, my brother?" Anyways, we go down to Solomon. Moses say, "I'm watching from Grand Bassa County." Yes. Oh, welcome to this show. Let me go down here to TC Prince to say, "Good evening, Spoon TV. Thanks for the show. I am watching closely." Don't watch from distant, boy. Come closer and closer. And this one is coming from D. Christian Carr. They say, "Good evening, guys. But Dr. Richardson can read my text because I'm not supporting ANC." I
That's
don't know.
not true, but it's okay.
Well, I don't think that Richardson even noticed that you sent a text and she won't want to read that. But anyways, thank you. She will respond to that later on. And Agnes V. Blackpool Ted that said, "Dr. Richardson, please talk about this energy drink called Seven Nights Proposally for men who have a wife or girlfriend. I watched this lady passing it out on Spoon earlier today. We all know the side effects and damages energy drinks can cause."
That
So,
is a good point, Agnes V. Tackler. Thank you for bringing that up. I did see a little bit of it, and I was wondering if there are any education or awareness on the side effects, because energy drink will keep you up all night long. Uh, and is if you have some predisposition in terms of
I
your health.
did mine do so I don't sleep at night.
Well, yeah, but that's the energy drinks they're making these days. They're bad. So, but yes, I did see it, and I'm gonna do some more research on it, and hopefully, I will talk about that. But thank you for bringing that up. I was concerned. I was like, "What are they doing any awareness uh, about this energy drink? Is you know it's a capitalist society, so people can choose to drink whatever they want. But I think it's incumbent upon us to also educate people about about the choices they're making. So go ahead, Mr. Chiru.
Okay, let me continue with some of these comments. I want to say Vamuya K. Bio says, "Following from Monrovia, continue to follow." Kai Kai says, "Watching Comfort Dolo, watching from Montana, Great Falls." Oh, a long time. I haven't heard Montana's name. But let me go down to Stephen Toba say, "God bless JNB." Peter Colon says, "I'm watching from Zwebu City." Yeah, my people, y'all watch. Y'all keep watching. This is a good place to be. AJ Dot. President Weah said he is not a politician. So why such endorsement? Good question. I think we can find some answer for that later on. And Lai A. Cannon says, "Good evening, family. I'm following live from Corwell at Samukai Town Junction, Sister Yata Cook Shop." Sister Yata, your business has been advertised on Spoon today. So I know everybody's going to come there to eat some food there once Lai is there. And Therese Soma says, "I'm watching from Morovia, Cinco Matali." Where are you, my brother? Cinco Matali. I don't know. Which one? Is that the same thing or what? But I'll say, I want to go to Volvo Power, Volvo Power. Volvo Power, Volvo Power. It says watching from, what is that? Bora Bora. I don't know this one here. I never heard about Bora Bora Island before. You got to teach me when I come to Liberia. And this one from Kuma Justina Bate. It says, Mr. Gibson, do you know that the information you put on Google about my story is not true? Will you take it down or say sorry? I will be I will it be okay if I take you to the law? I don't know you. I don't know who you're talking about. So I don't know what story. But let me know if the story is not true. We'll find out. But I don't put anything on internet that is not true. So that's that. But tell me, I will let you know what kind of story is that. Send me the inbox, and I can openly tell you whether it's true. And Gregory JNB Banner. I'm watching from New Georgia Estate. Yeah, man, I've been in that place many, many times. And Eduardo Santos. Oh, this one looked like someone from all the way there in the Portuguese land, but that name is very good. See, I'm watching from Zulu Whiskey. Huh? A person in Grand General have a Portuguese name, Eduardo Santos. All right, Eduardo, let me give it to Dr. Richardson after I read Mama B. Bill. It's a good evening, family. I'm watching from my Upper Corwell residence. District number 11. The Corwell people are plenty here tonight. And we are going to do just that.
Yes, I just want to thank you, Mr. Jerry. Mr. Jerry just bring an extra taste, energy to this part of the program. I really love it. I want to just say hello to Musulinda Kewu. She's watching from Matadi. Kumba Justina Gete is also watching. Louis Gapor is watching from Zero Out Nonsense. Let me just see who else is here with us. I'm just trying to make sure that we have not called the name twice here. We want to say hello to Felicia Washington is watching from Iowa. Edward G. Binter is watching from Findale Community. All of those who are in the Findale community, we'll give you a special hello to you from Spoon Talk family. Sita H. Herman is from Minnesota. Thank you for joining us, Sita. We appreciate you being here, and a special hello to those of you, those Liberians who are in Minnesota. We know we have a lot of supporters and friends that are in Minnesota. Clarence Benson is from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Clarence, thank you. There are many Liberians that are in Canada, so we bring greetings to you from Spoon Talk. Charlene L.I.B. Minaj, she's an avid listener. She's here almost every day. Charlene, we thank you for your commitment to Spoon and look forward to you seeing your comments and your support all the time. Pearl Campbell is here from Peach State. One of the things is Georgia. Pearl, thank you very much for being here. Let's see. D. Steve is also here from New Georgia. I was going to say New Joy, but it's New Georgia. But in Liberia, we say New Joy, which is okay. New Georgia. Yes. Let me just see who else that we have here, and then we'll go to discuss some of the main issues of the day. Just trying to make sure we don't repeat the same names here. Alfonso Wulu is from the FDA community in Painesville. Thank you for being here. Call Gloria Voga Mulba. Mulba is also someone who's avidly followed the show. She's always here. Call, thank you so much. We appreciate your commitment to getting informed and participating in the show. I'm looking at my other device to make sure that we just get everybody from different angles here. Palima Wia is from Broadville. Thank you for watching us. Edwin Ware is also, he said, call my name to Dr. Richardson. Edwin Ware. Edwin, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you here today. I see Minister Chesson Fans is here. Eric Comey is also here. Thank you for being here, Eric. Olivia Babu is also here. And this is the last person I'm calling right now. Charles J.S. Young is from Baltimore, ELW Community, Painesville. So all of our viewers, listeners, We want to tell you thank you so much for joining us. To the Liberians who's going to watch the show later on, just thank you for being here. Thank you for making Liberia a part of your schedule to get information from Spoon Talk. So I'm going to just welcome my colleagues here tonight. We see Mwali just joined us. Mr. Jerry was here with me. We have Yekesi producing for us. We are expected to have Madam Edith Gongo coming on the show tonight. But I'm just going to begin with you, Mr. Jerry, telling us what is on your mind. There were a couple of trending issues going on in the country. And we also started yesterday talking about this loan and the people that defected from this loan. Yeah, so go ahead, and then I'll be the last to tell what's on my mind. What's on your mind, Mr. Jerry?
Thank you very much. I am really appalled that CDC will choose McGee to be the senatorial candidate in Margibi County. I came across the story since this morning, and I've been thinking, like, what judgment is CDC making for someone who is on Magnitsky list and you are endorsing the president candidacy? How do you get far away? How will you get far away from such a stigma when you are still supporting someone who was considered corrupt and was barred by the U.S. from entering the United States on Magnitsky list? I mean, it's just so appalling that the CDC will do something like this. I can't imagine. How can you even do this? So if this man had killed people, CDC is able to still endorse him if he killed a human being. This is really, really bad. It's really bothering me. I don't know how the CDC authorities or officials will even agree to have him fielded in Margibi County. And he went unopposed. That's so bad. That's on my mind.
Yeah. And just to add to that, it's like giving, for lack of a better word, the finger to the United States. Like, we don't care,
America.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna pan out. I don't know how the Americans feel about this, and maybe we'll hear. They have been vocal in the past couple of months about politics in our country. I know there's the stipulation that they are not going to transact business with anyone who's is on the Magnitsky list. So I don't know how all of that going to pan out for us. But Mwali, thank you for being here. I hope your Friday is going well. What's on your mind today?
So I good evening. I put a video in the chat room. I hope it is something we can discuss.
Mm-hmm.
This is the drug issue. We say it lightly. We are talking politics all the time. If we don't continue with a real information campaign, a real awareness campaign, it will overtake us.
Mm-hmm.
And we may not even have the opportunity, especially for those of us in Liberia, to sit in the night and discuss politics. When you watch that video, you feel so terrible.
Is that something we can play on here? Did you want to play? Because I've seen it before. It is terrible. Did you want to play it for Liberians to see it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to see it.
Okay.
Because that's the awareness we're talking about.
Absolutely. Okay. Can you play it?
again. Who wanna roll mama to welcome me again? Up in the road city, she got me again. Now the whole country giant coming so. Yeah, come me again. Who wanna roll mama to welcome me again? Up in the road city, she got me again. Now the whole country giant ready to take over. Who wanna roll me, Papa come me again. Who wanna roll Papa Georgie come me again. Who wanna roll Mama Joe come me again. Who wanna roll city, she come me again. Now the whole country giant come me so.
We have on with our young Liberian. This is Spark. Spark and play start. Yeah, Spark and play start.
Who wanna roll Papa Georgie come me again. Who wanna roll Mama Joe come me again. Who wanna roll city, she come me again. Who wanna roll Papa come me again. Who wanna roll Papa Georgie come me again. Who wanna roll Mama Joe come me again. Who wanna roll.
You see how terrible that is?
Very.
And when the first guy was doing that thing, you heard the guy in the background saying, they killed one of them yesterday. I mean, they all are drugged. Normally, I don't even see people behaving like that in the street when they take cocaine. So it means that this is even way more terrible than the cocaine.
Mhm.
You see, then they are not stable, like some kind of zombie, then laying one side, getting up, and look at the terrible part. The guy would just walk on the street, the other man laying on the street playing tate picking. That on a car road. If some kind of car is on speed, he's done. You know, I keep looking at that video over and over, and it is disheartening, it's sad, it's sorrowful, but that is the country we are now having.
Yeah. We are in big trouble. That's all I can say to you for someone who have been around substance abuse. You know, it was required for me to learn about that as part of my training, although I did not specialize in this area. But, you know, this reminds me of opiates. What we have in this country is opiates here. When you take it, you just become a zombie. And the only way that this American government have been successful in decreasing opiates is to then give people the drug called methadone or Suboxone. So they have to come into a clinic almost every day in order for us to inject them, because I did part of my internship at a hospital that offered this, so I was able to watch this. So we'll inject them. It's another form of opiate, but it's just not supposedly not addictive. So they have to be on that for many, many years before they can be okay. One of the things I'm worried about, you know, I saw the guy, you know, if you fall and hit your head, that is a problem. You sustain some kind of injury, or, you know, the guy was rolling on the street and looking like he's going to fall. That's trauma. That's head trauma right there. You know, you can't replace the brain. So, I mean, all of those things are going through my mind when I was watching this. So we really, really need to find a way to attack it really quick, deal with it quick in our country. It's going to require a lot of experts. And you're right, Mo, it's scary. It's scaring me just watching that thing. I mean, see, Mr. Gibson, Jerry, what did you think? What did you have to say about it? It scares me.
Well, on the drug issue, first of all, Mo, thank you. I saw that video, I think yesterday, and thank you for putting it in the chat room. But I don't know if the Unity Party can be exonerated from this. They failed to put in place mechanism for the drug to be out of the children's hands, and now this spillover is increasing. So I don't know how we're going to do this. DP Barker was right when he said we screw up our opportunity. That was one of the opportunities that Unity Party screwed up. And today we are seeing the spillover of their misstep, their inability to solve simple issues. So George Weah, they messed up already, and then they turned the government over to George Weah, and so we are getting all of this. And more, I mean, it's not personal to you. It's just that the party that fielded Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and is fielding Joseph Boakai now, this party has just blundered from day one. They screwed up the opportunity to fix the system. And thank you that you are bringing it up. I hope the new dispensation will be able to solve the kind of problem. But in the Gongo administration, we'll not see this. We'll not see this. We'll make sure that these things are solved. But Unity Party brought us to this point that a spillover of their misrule, misgovernance is what is causing problem for us. Then they go give us George Weah. Unity Party gave us George Weah. So I do bad. Let me continue on to the other man. Let him do bad too. Now I want to take the whole Unity Party business out of the whole thing. Let's take the whole Unity Party out. Let's put new people who got new brains, new idea, new innovation. But I know my man Mo Ali will not agree. He will still say we won't carry Unity Party. But that's the way I feel about it. It is really hurt to see the children this way, and there's no practical step, practical strategy to get these children away from the drug. $1 million worth of drug go to court, and the government lost the case, and they gave the people money back. I gave up on Georgia government. I gave up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's sad. I want to welcome our long lost friend.
Dr. Richardson, if you don't mind, let me say something quickly.
Yes. Hold on, Mo. Let me just welcome Mr. Fadik, our long lost friend. He's back with us today. Thank you for being here. And also, I see Councillor Lami Paco is also here today. Thank you for being here, Mr. Mo Ali. Go ahead.
Ali, let me.
I beg you, just 1 minute. It will pass 1 minute.
I just wanted to make the announcement that I purposely came on when I heard Gibson Jaru.
So Gibson will find every way to exonerate the wrongdoing of the CDC, to the extent that he will say the Unity Party gave us the CDC. Well, I don't know how we gave you all the CDC when we told you, Gibson Jeru, not to campaign for CDC. We were in the election. We told you we had a better option. And yet you campaign for Mr. Weah. Number two, I've never seen drug usage at this level in this country. It was never like that when the UP was in power. We had a strong police force that was dismantling ghettos around here. And it was again, when dismantling ghettos and getting criminals out of the street, it was again your CDC that was leading protests all over the place. When Mary Bro was dismantling ghetto, people say, oh, Mary Bro is this, Mary Bro is that. Your CDC. Today, and thank God you talk about, even the 100 million drug case you want to talk about, you say 1 million. 100 million. It disappeared. The people disappeared.
Right.
And guess
that
what?
Was an error.
Dr. Richardson, Jesse Jeru CDC, the $100 million drug case, you know why the people went scot-free? Because they bribed the CDC. The CDC is displaying 73 brand new pickups, one for each district. Continuous, double continuous, 40 feet continuous full of countless motorbikes. You know where they got the money from? From no drug dealers. They were part of the deal. Gave us 8 million and you let our people go. We move on with our drugs. Like Gibson Jeru CDC. I do not consider Gibson Jeru a supporter of Councillor Gonglo. That's why whenever I'm responding to him, I respond to him as in his capacity as a seditious. To be honest with you.
So, at the expense of using children and our future generation and maybe adults too, just to win an election to buy trucks, I hope I just can't. I can't think about it. I can't even process it. I can't wrap my head around it that somebody will exchange the lives of the future generation or another human being just because they want to win or get toys or objects for the campaign. But let's go to Fadiga, and then we'll go to Councillor Lami. For you, we just talking about what's on our mind. We're expecting Madam Edith Gongo to come on. So you guys want to just tell us what's on your mind today?
Well, I'm sorry, I've been busy. I got 2 new roles as treatment director, so I got a lot of responsibility now. So sometime I got some cleaning up to do. So but drugs been.
Hold on a second. I see. You can see just came in. You can see that you have something to tell me.
Yeah. So the guest is already in the back.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. I didn't see her. I haven't seen her on screen. Let me just see. We'll bring her in. Let me just finish with Councillor Lami Pako, and then we'll bring her in. I'll bring her in. Okay. Thank you.
So the drugs business were on my mind. Honestly, the first day I saw that video that Mo plays shed tears. I know. Look, I've always said this, and I think it's a broken record. In the most sophisticated democracy in the world, we are struggling with drugs. I see drugs every day in my line of work. I see addicts every day in my line of work. And some of these people, it's a hole that once you get in, I'm yet to see. Well, I got few in between cases that people have actually recovered with everything that we have. Few. It's a hole that once you go in, there's almost like no turning back.
Yes.
Honestly, I've seen people that just they go from this beautiful person to a zombie. And with everything, like I heard Dr. Richardson talking about the methadone and Suboxone. We got Suboxone all over the places, but some of the children even try to get addicted on it. I got one other guy that would drink a whole, he would soak the coffee. Yeah.
You can't get addicted.
He would soak the coffee just so he can get high, soak the coffee so he can be very strong. And people do all kinds of things. And then with the gateway drug, marijuana, and all those things becoming more prevalent, it's making this something. But the drugs, look, we're not even plenty. I don't even know what over 5 million straight. If we do, and it's a very youthful population. You're talking about poverty. We're talking about people that are living, they don't know what they are living a hopeless life already. So they won't mind ruining it. But what most people are not paying attention to is we are looking at the kids. What about the lawmakers that are using drugs? What about that people that are looking at you and myself that look normal but they are taking drugs? Even people that. What about conductor of the car?
Yes.
That's something. So pretty soon it will start hitting home because once our country have been taken over by like how the crack took over the Chicago.
I don't want to guess.
So it's a thing that we need to talk about. We need to.
I want to have a whole show on this. Somebody suggested.
Yeah, we should do that. We should do that.
So let's talk. Let's hang heads and do that. Thank you.
So that's what on my mind. Yeah.
Yes, Councillor Lami Pakoy, welcome again. Tell us what's on your mind.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. The drug problem, I think, is necessary to have a whole show on it. It's something that has to be discussed. But the fact is that we have to realize that this thing didn't start today. It started getting out of hand, and Gibson was absolutely right. There's no reason for us to get defensive about it. We have a problem. The problem had a genesis. It started getting out of hand at a particular point. And it started getting out of hand during the Unity Party administration. It's a fact. There's no reason. I can bet you all of us have seen that Vice documentary on Liberia where they went to West Point and they filmed people doing similar thing like that video that Mohammed just made you to show. And by the way, you gave the CDC free publicity on radio because nobody's seen the video on radio and you're just playing CDC songs. So we inadvertently gave CDC free publicity on the radio. I was thinking about that when I was driving coming. So we have to understand the fact that this problem didn't start today. It is a problem that has gradually, continuously eat up the society and is going to continue eating up the society. Go to YouTube, you look for that Vice documentary. It's in West Point. They have kids doing drugs on tape. When I tape came on, what was the United Party government response at the time? They blamed the Vice journalists for filming kids doing drugs, not trying to address the problem. And those guys had to flee the country overnight. One of those guys who did that documentary at the time worked for the organization that I worked for. He was a Canadian journalist that was here helping to mentor Liberian journalists. He was working for us. Those guys had to flee overnight because they didn't look at the problem. When they look at the symptom. Why you people film people? You want me the country to look bad. That was their response to the situation. So let's forget about all this issue about somebody trying to make somebody feel look bad and stuff like that. Then,
Yes.
Councillor
Yes.
Magwan, I really don't think we should forget about it, because if we all agree, Dr. Richardson, 1 second, if we all agree it started during the Unity Party tenure, it's good.
there's no excuse for why. There's no excuse for why it has skyrocketed.
Bungalow served
There
that
is no
government for
excuse.
5 years and
Mohammed,
for 3 years
Mohammed,
as
Mohammed.
Solicitor General.
Mohammed,
Somebody
let
who's
me just
supposed to prosecute people for bringing
Mohammed.
in drugs and all those kind of things. I am waiting yet to hear from Councillor Kpagor
And he lost all the cases.
what did he really do?
You know, like pedestrian talk, he
Job
lost
to
all the cases.
prosecute
Who the cases?
people
All the cases
in
they
the
lost.
country. And also as labor minister.
Mohammed, you are doing wrong. Why I interrupted you?
He
Why
was
I
there for
interrupted
5
you?
years. You need to tell us something that he did as Solicitor General to help in this fight against drugs.
So wait now. Nobody disrupted you when you were talking.
No, I just want to set the record straight, you know.
Set the record straight on what? That the government you supported at the
Congress
time,
being
the problem started
Solicitor
with the
General and
prosecutor.
never prosecuted one drug law
Let's be honest
in
with
this
ourselves.
country.
There's
One.
nothing wrong with saying, Mohammed, there's nothing wrong with saying where the problem started from. And understanding that there's no justification for
And
the
there's
skyrocket.
nothing wrong with saying the person who was responsible to prosecute people.
Okay, he was a police that was supposed to be and at the time the vice documentary came out, so Gongo was no longer even in the government again. But apart from that, it's not a justification. The fact that it started getting all of him doing the Unity Party administration is not a justification for why it has skyrocketed to the level at which it has skyrocketed. But we have to understand where the thing came from. We have to put the blame there. And then start looking at the people who are in power right now. Why they doing nothing about it? I mean, you claim that they're getting money from the drug cartels. That's what you claim. I mean, you may or may not be right.
Okay.
You may or may not be right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Councillor Parker. We have to move on with this show because we have a guest here. We will definitely plan some time to discuss this.
Can you give me 10 seconds? Can you give me 10 seconds?
I'm not giving anybody any 10 seconds. I'm not even discuss what's on my mind. I see Mr. Falcon just joined us. He hasn't even, we don't even have time for him to discuss what's even on his mind. So we'll table any discussion or any thoughts we have right now and bring our guests in. So thank you very much, guys. Hello, Madam Konglo. How are you? Konglo Ware, how are you doing today?
Thank you for that correction. I'm doing good. And hello to every one of you, Spoon family. Hello to the people of Liberia, my good and peace-loving people of Liberia. I'm glad to be on today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you just give us a little bit of a summary on your presentation here today?
So I have a mission on your platform today, and my mission is simple. I'm here to answer questions, especially questions coming from this platform, led by the CEO himself, when he has repeatedly asked, coming up to yesterday, who is Mr. Yakwaulo, Dr. Yakwaulo? Who is he? And why did Councillor Gonglo pick Yakwaulo? You know, and it's not just him. So I'm here precisely to answer that question. Who is Dr. Emmanuel Ure Yakwaulo? And why did Councillor Gonglo pick him at this time as his running mate? I beg to do this. I hope I can do it within 30 minutes. And I hope that we focus on this and this alone. That's why I'm here. That's my mission. So I'm a mission woman.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the question, let me say this. She just Eugene.
Just before she go ahead, let's understand in what capacity is she here? Is she representing Tiawon Gonglo? Is she with the Liberia People's Party? You know, we have to be very clear because she ran in the previous election. She ran on a different ticket. So we don't want a situation where she said, I'm here to answer a question. Is she coming as the sister to Tiawan, or a spokesperson, or a member of that political institution? That way, we're able to ask our questions appropriately.
And
fair question. Fair question.
Madam Gonglo, after you speak, I just want you to be aware that we'll take turns asking you questions, okay? All right.
Sure.
Go ahead. Thank you.
That's a fair question. And let me say to Honorable Eugene Fagon, yeah, Honorable, that's a fair question. I'm here as a citizen of Liberia, as a major stakeholder who has serious and keen interest in what's happening in our country. Just like, you know, what you are discussing about drug issue, those are social issues that concerns everybody. So I don't have to be a spokesperson. I'm here as a Liberian who support Councillor Gonglo and his choice. That's why I'm here. So I'm in my capacity as a private citizen, as a stakeholder who has a stake in the corporation called Liberia.
But do you think you will be the right person to tell us why he picked Gonglo, or Gonglo should tell us why he picked Yakpawolo?
Well, I'm speaking to you from my understanding of why he picked him. And so if you will give me a chance, because that's what I understand, and then not just why he picked him, but who is Yakpawolo? That was the question that Mr. Witherspoon asked yesterday. And I've done some fair reading on this young man because, like I said, I'm a stakeholder and I have a huge stake in a corporation called Liberia as a citizen of this country. And so I have come, and he's also my candidate. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, so we take it that you will be presenting your opinions tonight.
Thank you very much. That's precisely what it is. I hope that my opinion can educate a lot of people who may not have, you know, the right information or who may be hungering to know this Dr. Yakpawolo.
Okay, please proceed.
So with that settled.
Is Fagon co-moderating?
No, well, sometimes he does.
No time for questioning.
Okay. I think I did Mr. Gonglo a great service tonight, so that things that Madam Ida Gonglo will say will not be attributed directly to him, but it will be her opinions expressed and her understanding of why she believed he picked her, not giving a reason that we will tie to Gonglo.
Yes, and that's why I allow you to ask the question, because I
thank you, and that's
go ahead, Madam Ida Gonglo.
And that's why I said that was a fair question, Honorable, and that was a fair statement. So
now the team the man losing for them. They're too big for them.
Mr. Falcon, you gotta add all I want to just do good.
I gotta add it and give someone P4.
Fagon, do I have
to show that we lost vote because of us?
Do I have the chance now to speak?
Let's respect our guests. I beg you. Please go ahead, Madam Gonglo.
So I know a lot of you, out of curiosity, because you're all, you know, well knowledgeable individuals on this platform, but for the benefit of our public out there, when these questions are asked, it is really good and fair enough for somebody to provide those answers. And I know Councillor Pago has done a phenomenal job here along with Gibson Jeru to be able to answer some of those questions. I'm just coming, you know, to maybe smoothing some of the rough edges, because not everyone has all of the information. Of course, we are all reading it. So tonight, who is Dr. Yakpawolo? Dr. Emmanuel Yakpawolo. Dr. Yakpawolo, by his name, you know, he's a Peleme. He's a Liberian who hails from Bong County with a very unique story. You know, all of us have stories. Some stories are so interesting and others, you know, can be a turn off, but he's one of those with a very compelling and inspiring stories, you know, that I've come across in the last couple of years, especially after the war. So Dr. Yakpawolo, as a Liberian who hails from Bong County, holds a PhD in environment and resource studies from the Wisconsin University Madison. He also, interestingly, a man who was born 1981, started school in 1995 at the age of 13 going 14, started kindergarten in Guinea in a refugee camp. You know, there were lots of challenges during the war with young people, especially young men who were being recruited and conscripted into the rebel army as child soldiers. Was he arrested? Was he at one point apprehended to be conscripted? Yes, he was. But he was able to escape because he's a man who had a vision and a mission. He always craved to go to school, but he comes from a very humble background. You know, like most of us Liberians who have had humble beginning. Some people allow their background to tie them down, but this is one man who did not allow his family situation to define what his life would be. So he was resilient in that way, in searching for what he wanted. Like in his story, he said, I always knew I wanted to go to school. I wanted education, but his parents didn't have it. And more than that, Francine, this man lost his mother at the age of 3. And you, as a psychologist, you know what that means. You're talking about separation anxiety. You're talking about depression. You're talking about grief. You're talking about loss. You're talking about being confused at that tender age. You know, when you want to see your mom, who in the morning is providing that, nurturing, that caring, and you don't see that. A lot of children, that kind of trauma sometimes pushes them over the cliff. But in his case, he's blessed. He was blessed, even though he lost his mother at that tender age and his aunt took him. You know the difference between motherly love and even extended family love. That could have ruined his life. But he stood firm and remained focused. And he started his kindergarten at age 13. Isn't that phenomenal that somebody in this day and age, 1995, starting kindergarten at age 13 going 14? You don't hear about that often these days. It's always like in the past. But that's the story of Dr. Yakpawulu. And because he started so late and he was so smart, he just pretty much ran through. In the first 5-6 months, he was promoted to the next class. And so within 10 years, Dr. Yakpawulu graduated high school and enrolled at Cotonou University, where he did his first degree in biology. You see, this guy is well versed. And then he went back and did his master's at the same Cotonou University in environmental science, where he later went, got scholarship and went to Madison, Wisconsin, where he did a second master's and then a PhD. More than his education, for me, what is intriguing about this young man is that he's somebody who is focused and has a vision. Because if you are not focused and don't have direction, you can go astray, especially when you have multiplicity of problems, family problems, financial problems, but he remained focused. What is also very interesting is that it's not just his education. Dr. Yakpawulu was able to return to his country. Some of us will remain in America, especially when you graduate from big school like that, good school, good program, everything, and the opportunities are phenomenal out there. Some will rather stay here and enjoy the comfort of the West. But Dr. Yakpawulu chose to go back to Liberia. And he got involved he just thrust himself right in. He was part of the Land Commission as a consultant, where they drafted the Land Rights Act or law, and he and Tiawan Gonglo worked together. Amazingly, at that time, they never had a clue that this day would come when they would come together for the purpose of nation building and redirecting the course of Liberia. They never thought about that. So, he worked there later with Landisa and all that. And then, of course, during his education, he was supported not just by family, but also by the Salvation Army. So he turned around to give back to the institution that supported him so much. And so he took over the school as a volunteer when the school was just a vocational certificate granting school. But as a natural leader, he took that school from a certificate granting vocational school to an associate degree school, and later to a full degree granting college today. And I read something on his website that was so intriguing and amazing. Amazingly, this man, like his principal Tiawan Gonglo, also believes in integrity. On his website, that's one of the major values of the school, that skills, education with integrity, not just education. We have so many educated people. Like Albert Einstein said, education is not just the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. And I like to add, to think in a transformational way. So this guy has education with integrity, and that's what he teaches his students. Today, his graduates are recorded as among the few schools whose graduates never lack work. And not only that, they don't lack work, they shine in all their places of employment, and most of them have gotten scholarship to go further. So the several things that Dr. Yapawolo has done, in addition to just the education, even the non-profit organization that he started in his village, the construction of semi-private public school, because it's private, he constructed it, but it's public because it's free to every kid in his village. The only elementary school in the Republic of Liberia, I can say this with straight face, literally, public school, because there might be private schools, but the only public school, semi-public, that has running water in his village. You don't hear that. If this is not somebody who is the definition of self-made, here in this country, the Republicans can say, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. He did not allow his family condition, his economic situation to derail his focus for what he wanted in life. Why did Councillor Gonglo pick him? In my mind, because this is my candidate, I follow him everywhere he goes, and I listen to him. Not only that he's my candidate, he also a family. So I know him from a personal perspective, from close up. He chose this man because they both are aligned in values. They say, show me your friend, let me tell you who you are. If you want to make change, you better join with somebody who agrees with you on, or if not most, all of your fronts. So Tiawan Gonglo had been, looking around, and I will tell you that this morning, as I was thinking about coming on this show, something told me this thing here go ahead inside. Because Councillor Gonglo, all along, he said he want woman. He want a female vice presidential candidate. And I think all of you on this show will attest to that. He always wanted a woman. He has always said from the very get-go that his regime, in fact, his cabinet position will be split evenly, 50% male, 50% females. So he was looking for a female. How did he end up with a male? It has to be God. It has to be divine. God said, look, I find somebody who can help to smoothen the path, because the two of you will agree on so many issues. One of the major issues would be on the issue of transparency, on the issue of integrity. Like I said, long before Dr. Yapawolo thought that he would ever have this opportunity, or that he would ever even come to run in his local election, his focus and his mantra for educating the youth of Liberia was education with integrity, because he found out that one of the things that suffering our country today is the lack of integrity in the public space, and even in private places, even in the churches. Integrity is now lost on our people in Liberia. And so this is somebody whose entire focus is that. More than that, Dr. Ure was running to be representative in his district. Guess what he started to do? He started to form a team, an alignment, trying to scout for candidates that think like him, that think on first the nation, saving the nation. And he said to himself, we need to have men of character and integrity in the legislature to save our legislature, especially the Bond Legislative Caucus. So he started to team up with people, you know, in Bond County who were running as well to see how they can all look for the best and brightest of them to run before this opportunity just dropped at his door. So these are just few of the things I wanted to talk about, Dr. Ure. And I said to Liberians out there, you know, we always say we want change, you know, and I always like to quote Darius DeLong because, you know, sometimes he say some of the real things, you know. Darius DeLong in February made a statement. He was talking about Tiawan Gonglo on OKFM. And he said, you know, Liberian people, we are funny set of people. He said, I too surprised. Liberian, we jelly the woman and the man that marry and send they marry, the woman can get pregnant. Whole day they pray for Bella, the Bella can come. But the day God answer their prayer and the Bella can, the man and the woman say they had time too much. That around the time were ready for the Bella, they went and did abortion. Even though they've been praying all along to get pregnant. But when the pregnancy came and the man said no, they time here to her. Yeah, his wife agreed and they went and they did abortion. He said, so that's the thing with Liberia and Tiawan Gonglo. He said, like him or hate him, I'm not in his party. But I told when Councillor Gonglo says in Liberia that I am running and declare to run, Liberians were going to have Lapa open in the street and dancing. Because you don't have to like him. He's not just one of the cleanest, but he's one big nationalistic hero. This is Darius DeLong, who is even in the Unity Party or you know Liberty Party. So these two have come together. I think it's not a mistake. It's not a coincidence. This is divine. It is time for Liberia to make a leap in a different direction. When you want change should be transformational. So I believe that this ticket represent that change, and Dr. Yakwaulo could never have been a better choice at a better time than this, and for the candidate that he is the choice for Councillor Tiawan Gonglo, the groomman.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gonglo Ware, for
no, I'm not doctor.
Mrs. Gonglo, Madam Gonglo Ware, I'm sorry.
Thank you, for
highlighting Dr. Yakwaulo, Yakwaulo accomplishments here. We're going to take turns just asking you questions that which we have more time to ask you, but you know we have limitation here. I'm going to start with Mr. Fagon, and then I'll move on to Councillor Lamin Pakor, and then I'll move on to Mr. Fariga, and then Mr. Moali, and then lastly, Mr. Jiru. And if I have any questions, I will chime in. So, Mr. Fagon, the floor is open to you.
Thank you. Before we go any further, her mission was clearly defined, but let me ask Madam Edith Way. I had to go to learn how to pronounce that way.
Gonglo Way. It's not way, that way. My husband is Basso from River Cess. That way from Limba. Thank you.
Why did man a problem today? Boy, you gotta help Tiawan.
Ask a question.
I thank God you're praying for Tiawan. That's a very good vibe tonight.
You know, some of the things we do can help to lead the person. When I say wait, you will come back to face it. You face it, it pass. Now, but let me say, before I ask my question, are you running in these elections, upcoming elections? If so, under what banner, party, or whatever?
So I am here tonight. I clearly defined my mission here tonight.
That's why I took it. I put it one side. I said before I ask my question now.
So I want you to go to that question because that's the only question that I'm prepared to answer tonight. The reason is I don't want to get distracted because you answer one question and it drags you into.
No, you won't be distracted. No, you inside or you not inside.
I know me. Yeah, Eugene. I like to remain focused. I like to remain focused.
You inside the election?
When that bridge comes, we will cross it.
Okay. So let me ask my question. I tried to look up my dear brother. And at one point, he was referred to as Emmanuel King. And the reason why I'm raising this issue, since you said you've come to tell us who he is. And so when he was Emmanuel King, he was the founder of a group called, not a group, but he had a business that's called VNU. Then if I want to go to exactly where we are, then he went ahead again to form. So let's go into at least the other way around. Founder and Chief Executive Officer for VNU LLC. Founder, Chief Executive Officer. This was in 2020. In 2017, he was the founder again of OLLI, which translates to One Life Liberia Incorporated. So we got two there now. Then he was the program director for Lendesa, an organization or whatsoever. But throughout these different, whether senior land tenure consultant, country representative for that group, or project assistant, he moved between the names Emmanuel King, then Emmanuel King Ure, then Emmanuel King Ure Yakpawulo. It's right there. He himself put it there. Help us understand why your name is either Gonglo Wen, clear from day one. But on one,
no, I got plenty of other one there. You know, sometimes you hear people call me Leanu. They will not even call the EDF. They will not put the Gonglo. They will not put the way. When you go to Nimba, some people will affectionately refer to me as Madame Leanu is back. Leanu is back. So people do have nicknames. Some of us as Africans, we have multiple names. So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead, ask your question.
Because I'm a say when I gave you my name, you will be scared.
Exactly. So you are saying multiple. We used to have Dapana Gange. All I want, so because you knew of Gange at one point, then you say, why you just
pay me.
The
five people call me Kabalonoi. The Gola people call me Beyang Betuma. The Kram people call me Monkuson.
You just answer your question.
Call me Kakaklo. They got different names for me. But they want that in America. So when you put me on document, the American people know that they need. They want that in America, all the things learning also. So I'm asking you, tell us the difference. Since you know him, you wanted to talk about him. Tell us the difference between Emmanuel King Ure, Emmanuel King Ure Yakpawulo. Help us understand who we need to be hearing about here.
I'm glad you have read a good bit about Dr. Yakpawulo. In his bio, and he didn't even write it, a professor from Madison wrote about this man. And the title of that article, which I have here, was Emmanuel Ure's Educational Experiences Help Him Become a Leader in Liberia Education and Land Rights Reform. And in that article, the woman talked about his humble beginning, how he even acquired, Emmanuel Yakpawulo himself talked about how he acquired the Ure name. The Ure, his uncle, who was in Belefanai today, during the ceremony, the traditional ceremony. There's something else I will talk about. His name, I think, is John Ure. That's the man, when his father could not afford, when they came back from refugee camp to Liberia and things were hard, his father sent him to live with this uncle, whose name is Ure, John Ure. And so he had to take the man's name to go to school. But his original name, his father's name is Yakpawulo. So he went to school as Ure. But you know, we all do that. In our background, a lot of people use names, they went to school, and then eventually their real name surfaced. So for me, it's not an issue. It's just a name. It doesn't represent or it doesn't present any conflict.
Ma'am, hold on. I'm talking about the king.
Okay.
His name was Emmanuel King. Then we got the Ure. You got to help us where the king came from.
So you got to look at where the consistency is. Which of the names that you find that is consistent? Is it the king or is it the Yakpawulo Ure? I see the Yakpagulo Ure with the Emmanuel being very consistent.
Is this the king I'm confused about?
Okay, so that's a question to ask. But as I let Fagon go, let me say this before the next question comes in. You know, this is a brilliant show. Thank you so much, my people, for giving me this opportunity and this platform on this humongous show that everyone listens to. Something extraordinary happened today in Liberia. And the way I see it, the way I define it, I see an amalgamation of our traditional African cultural leadership selection merging with the Western cultural democracy. If you didn't watch it, I will urge all of you to go to watch it today. I was mesmerized. Councillor Tiawon Gonglo and the elders of his party went to Belefana today, the district of Emmanuel Yakpagulo. When they went there today, why did they go? Because the naming, the presentation of the vice presidential candidate is not until next week, Saturday in Bon County. But the African culture dictates that the way we elect and select our leaders is by consensus of the elders of the town. Tiawon was able to marry the two today. He went to the people culturally. We take cola. So he took the little cola out of his pocket. One note, whatever that note represented, it represented the cola note. And said to the people of Belefana District number 4, it was a 3-tier program. They started last week where he first went to his team and his family, close family, and asked respectfully of their son to run with him. Then he went back now to the district. That's what we do culturally. And I see that today, Tiawon Gonglo and Yakpagulo brought the culture of Liberia and married it to the Western democratic culture. I just wanted to point that. I thought that was phenomenal. It was unprecedented, has never been done before. This is to signify a birth of a new type of leadership in Liberia.
Councillor Fakor, please ask your question, please.
Oh, I thought we were asking two questions.
Well, but you asked one or two, but we'll come back to you.
My second question. Yo, that's all. Let me ask my first question.
Okay,
my second question.
Mr. Fakor, hold on 1 second, okay?
I will keep my second question for the best.
Mr. Fakor, please let me just go to Councillor Lami. I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to wait my time.
How you ask Gonglo to ask Gonglo?
Next time, we'll start with the frivolous question. Start with the real one.
But how you ask Gonglo people to ask Gonglo question?
Situation here, I beg you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, ask your
So,
I just want to know, Madam Boro, how you ask Gonglo to ask Gonglo question?
When you say next time, we'll start with frivolous questions. Start with the real one. So, Mrs. Gonglo, where?
Yes.
You know, you've explained movingly what Dr. Ure is. And I don't think anybody could have done justice to his biography than what you've just done. Not many people in the Liberian environment you will find that have the kind of stellar history and the kind of moving history that Dr. Yakpagulo has.
So true.
But the key thing here is, why do you think, the coming together of the Gonglo Yakpagulo ticket, why do you think is inspiring so much fear in some people in this country? Why? Can you tell us? Can you speculate on why you think is inspiring this fear?
Well, I didn't know there was fear because, as you know, I left Liberia last week and I'm in the States. So I'm not reading the barometer of fear and emotions in Liberia right now. But now that you're telling me there is fear.
Well, let me just correct something. The fear in all of politicians. There are fear in all of politicians that they see this ticket as a ticket that is going to backbench them. So, I mean, why you think that is so scared to have these two stalwarts, these two transparency, champions coming together? What do you think?
You answer the question, Pago. The Bible says, where darkness see light, darkness can run away. Do you ever see darkness and light mix? So when you see something real authentic, this team is an authentic team. There's nothing fake about them. They're honest people, hardworking men, nationalistic, selfless, and humble human beings. So these power characteristics of two men who are self-made and who fear nothing but to do wrong. When they come together, of course, people with, closet, who have too many skeletons, if there's any fear in the nation among politicians, I would think that would be the only cause of fear because of who they are. They present a sort of unblemished team, and it's scary in a field of, like somebody say, oh, the men knew, they don't know him, and nobody knows him. I said, but it's not about how much you're known. It's what you're known for. Some people are known all over Liberia, but they know them for bad thing. Some of them, they get name for them. They call them all kind of names. So when they know you, it's all right. When they know you for good thing, a small good thing, they didn't know him before, but they getting to know him now.
Thank
all
you.
Over Monrovia now, you hear, or on the social media now, you hear Dr. Yapaulo. These are unsung heroes, very quiet, soft heroes, and they are coming to the limelight.
Thank you.
So that would frighten anybody. Myself, I would be scared if I had any kind of bad character and see good person coming, I will start running.
So, okay.
Yeah, I mean, especially corrupt people. Corrupt people don't want to see people like that.
Castle, you asked the question. Are you answering?
I thought we're doing two, I was doing one.
I was supposed to do.
You didn't want me to ask my second one.
Go on, please. Okay.
No problem.
Liberia shall be delivered.
Let me just do one question, and then because of time, and I see that this show is going to be very informative, so we want to make sure that we meet the time regulation.
Yeah,
here.
waiting for
Mr. Fagon, I'm going to waive my time to you, so just make sure. Let's go to Alpha the guy.
All right. With all due respect, Madam Gonglo, where I think I hope I pronounced that right.
You're from Basel, so you so pronounced it incorrectly.
I know, but I'm usually not right. But I listen to you. And I like that you inject divinity in this thing. But other out there will say that the only reason that this gentleman, which I'm kind of confused because Liberia is a country that we woke up one morning, we met a man that called Jala Lahinam, who is now our president, what in the Senate there, he changed the name to Buffer Chima, Dr. Buffer Chima. This thing is too prevalent in Liberia. People just do things. When I was contemplating, rather anticipating who this Councillor Gonglo would choose as his running mate, and several names pop up in my mind, and I was surprised out of nowhere. We saw Yakpawuro, we saw King, we saw Ure. Who is he? Is he Ure? You mentioned one thing, and you said that he took that name because he had to go to school. And that was one thing the indigenous Liberian frowned upon a couple of years ago, especially after 1980, that people, native children had to come. Somebody talking on the news.
Yeah, somebody please mute yourself. We'll get it.
Somebody please mute yourself. Native children had to come in town and adapt the American Liberian names in order to go to school. And a couple of years ago, in recent time, we have not seen that a lot. I will not dispute what you are saying, but we rather want to know who is this man. Is he Yakpawuro because he doesn't want to be associated with the American Liberian name, or Ure? Because I want to take it as Ure because all document that I've seen online is Emmanuel Ure. But that I will leave that to for you to ponder upon. Who is this man? I want you to tell who is Yakpawuro. I know you tell us, but some people, who is he? Is he Yakpawuro or Ure?
He is Ure Yapaulo, and this is the. Let me tell you.
Yapaulo is his last name, or the
Yapaulo is his last name, and he made the Ure his middle name. And let me correct this: the John Ure, whose name he carried, is his uncle. I listened to that old man today in Belevalan. Nothing about him sounds other than a Pele man, because you could hear the Pele accent in his English. Maybe he stayed with the Ures. It's possible. But also, the Ures are from Bon County. The Ures are from Bon County. The last I checked, Mr. Ure speaks Pele. They have a Bon County connection.
No, the reason I'm saying is every official
document is his uncle. He is Ure Yapaulo. He's Emmanuel Ure Yapaulo. His uncle, who he stayed with, to go to school. His name is John Ure. It is that man name he used to go to school. But eventually, when he got to college going forward, he made the Ure his middle name and took onto his father's name, Yakpawulu.
Well, that's fair enough. It's weird, but fair enough.
Okay.
Tell us what has this man done? I know you said that
No,
this is.
can you hold that?
Your
Second question, Farika?
No, my first question. I just coming as I was just laying the premise.
Echo. You see, Councilor Lami coming to come home to stay there. I don't know.
The same people. Now the same people.
Okay. So let me
I was
let me
just laying the premise.
come back to you. Let me go to Moali. I'll come back to you.
Oh Lord. Oh,
I
all
beg
right.
you.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes, Moali, please ask your question. Moali, we can't hear you.
Good. You know, it is really a very difficult thing to say something about someone who is little known. We don't know him. We know nothing about him. And so it will be a difficult thing to say, oh, this man is this man is that. In public sector, especially at the highest level, most often we are learning not to start to test people at those levels who we know absolutely nothing about. Because we've tried people who we've been hearing about long time, and what we saw is a disaster. So it is good for people who are tested. But Madam, well, I will ask you, maybe I wasn't paying attention well. You in your expose, and I'm sure this entire conversation is going to be centered around just Ure Yakpawulu, right? Okay. Did I hear you say he was born in 1981?
That's what I read on the website. I think 80 or 81, yes.
And he started
I went
school
to
in
started school
1985.
1995.
At the age of 13?
Yeah, 13 going 14. Depending on what month he started school in. So it could be 14, it could be 13.
That's very impressive. Very, very impressive. Now, you know, you've spoken so much about the integrity and everything. I know Councilor Gonglo, he's a man of integrity. I don't know Yakpawulu. Like thousands of other Liberians, millions of other Liberians. How are we measuring this integrity? When there's no information about him, there's nothing with it. You know, because when you talk something, there must be a reference point for this. How are we measuring this integrity?
So, you know, you're a very astute and well-learned man. And so I know it's not something strange to you that to measure and to study people, you do your own research. And there's several types of research, but major ones that educated people like you would do, you always get to the, you know, qualitative research where you're going around and asking people questions and sampling views. So the thing, especially in this modern day and age more, is no question to ask how to measure this man. We know that he lived in Madison, Wisconsin, and he lived and worked also with the Liberian community there. He served as one of the leaders. There are plenty of Liberians there we can ask. Story again, if he had anything he close by now out, you know that political time information will be out like lightning speed. He also served as president of the what you call the school, Oh, what did I just forget?
Army College.
The Salvation Army College. He served as the leader there from the time it was just a polytechnic, like a vocational school. He rose it to the level of associate degree, now to a 4-degree granting university or college. You can go and ask teachers there because he's administrator. He just recently resigned. You will get information on him. The man also has an NGO that have been operating in his district in Bon County. Even ask your own Dr. Togba, who happens to be a United Party senator. He was Cardinal University president when this young man was student. Ask about him. Who is he? So to find out who is Dr. Yakwaulo is not hard at all, especially now that Tiawan Gonglo has brought him to the national stage. This is the time for us to dissect his background, because other than what I've read on the internet myself and talking to people from the Bon County Association, I've asked scores of people from the Bon County Association in America, was this man part of you people? Who is he? What's his character? And I've heard nothing.
So, Madam Ware, if I am
your research, I will,
Madam Ware, if I am getting you well, it's not that you know him, that you can speak for that you know Yure Yakwaulo, that you can speak for a character for yourself, that you've interacted with him over time. Because my thinking is, in this political age, when you are selecting someone to be your running mate, it must have been somebody that you can vouch for, you've interacted with, you know everything, and not just, go ask Dr. Togba, go ask this person. It should be based on myself, my own thing. So I'm still finding it a little bit difficult for the reference point for Yure Yakwaulo's.
But
I'm not doubting it, but I'm just talking about the reference point.
With all due respect, and I really respect your view and your questioning, but let's not even go there. This man, as far as we know from our research and talking with people who know him, there is nothing that raises a red flag. He's a married man with children. He's a family man. And so if there was anything, like I say, in this Liberia and political season, Yakwaulo had anything in his closet. Hey, that man what can steal that are the men they compare with Tiawan Gonglo. That man what can lie, then you not hear ill, because we not hear plenty of people. But if it was there, you would hear it. Then people even from your party not flagging. People from CDC were flagging. People from ANC were flagging. But since they announcing the only thing you can hear, but we know the man, nobody knowing, so Tiawan Gonglo, he made a wrong choice. So y'all let Tiawan Gonglo and his supporters let us cry out of cry. He go tell somebody that they know. We're telling you who he is. But let us cry out of cry the way people know him. Let it be Tiawan Gonglo and his team and his party problem.
Thank you, Madam.
I just came to let the public know of what I know about him.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Well, we'll get back to you. Mr. Jerry Gibson. Gibson Jerry, sorry.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, we know a lot of people who got shady deals, who know the Jeremiah Kun stole goats, Jeremiah Kun stole chicken. We know about all of that, but he's still vice presidential candidate for Joe Biden. But I got some question for you, Madam Ware. My last name was Gibson Davis when I was living with my sister from my husband, and I changed it to my father name, Gibson Jeru. Do you think I committed a crime?
Oh no. You just, when you got mature, you decided, okay, you partner now.
Madam Gongo, that's my way. That's something I want to ask. Based on my interview and talking with people in Bon County, why do people in Bon County love Councilor Gonglo so much?
What?
Why do people of Bon County love Councilor Gonglo so much?
Just how the people of Grand Jude love him like that, because you're from Grand Jude. It was no party. The people of Bon County love the man because he's a good man. It's difficult to hate good things. It is difficult. Some people will try, but it's not in the natural scheme of things to just hate somebody who is just naturally good, who did you no harm. Some people can do it and then they get angry more with themselves. So the same reason why your grandchildren let a man at it. That the same reason the Bon County people let him.
Okay, thank you.
You made my day. My question finished for now.
Thank you. Mr. Fagon, I'm just gonna ask my question and we're gonna go to you, okay? I know I said I was going to use my time to you.
I thought you were deferring your question to Fagon because it look like Eugene get plenty of questions for me.
Fagon, Eugene got no question anymore.
You're writing the question then down and me already.
Yes, I just wanted to bring this point. I actually read in something online that Dr. Yabawolo had applied for a job at the Ministry of Health, and then later on obtained a job at the Land Commissions. I'm just curious as to what prevented him from getting this job at the Ministry of Health, if you know that answer to that question.
Well, I don't know that, but I can just infer, because Dr. Francine, when you are well-versed and you're versatile, right? And you're educated in many fields, because mind you, Dr. Yu's first degree was in biology before he went on to environmental and resource management degree and stuff. So maybe it was from his biological background that he applied to Ministry of Health. But again, when you are so skillful, you got to weigh your options. One could be more lucrative than the other, or one could be the one that challenges, your skills to come out. So you want somewhere where you can grow professionally. So I can't speak for him, but just from knowing what I know, when I have choices to make and options, those are the things that go into my decision making. Is this other job more challenging? Will it help me to grow professionally? Does it pay my bills? All of that will go into the decision I make to make a selection.
Thank you, Madam Ware.
Just to add, Dr. Richardson, just to add, Dr. Yapawolo's first master's is in public health. So he did a biology degree for his bachelor's, and then he did his first master's in public health.
Going to do his I just wonder what happened at the Ministry of Health. But again, I think he would be the best person.
I think we should have Dr. Yapawolo come on and explain some things about himself.
Yes, and I would encourage Madam Ware, and also I would encourage you, Lami, and Mr. Jeru, to please invite him over. We'll be glad to talk to him, because I think you'll be the best person to answer my question. Mr. I'm going to go to you.
Why are you scratching your hair like that?
Your question finished.
Because they see, man, when we're trying to help, so that the views expressed by you can be seen as more of a person who did your research on him and is trying to get to know him. He can't fight. Now he's still here. He said, I think that Oyakawolo is Sam Okayana to go answer a question. What you are fighting me for?
Fighting you in what way?
You are a lawyer. I'm a politician. Stay out of my Zoom.
So
I'm trying to help my big brother.
So I'm going to go answer my door, but after Fagon,
Eugene get more breaking news. So Eugene saying he's trying to help Gongolo, so it means that he's trying to cross carpet.
And then cancel
news flash.
Which one? The Gongolo?
He's trying to cross carpet.
Gongolo where?
No, Gongolo well, and I'm big brother. Gongolo can be big brother. Gongolo well.
I'm trying to help Gongolo. He asked me which one. You got to me, sir. You know how many they got? One they call Klebo.
That one is not political.
All right, let me ask a question.
That mathematician.
Let me ask, because the question I'm going to ask, by going to a credit, you was smart, join from it. You can get a master's degree in public health, then Ebola can, you go start drawing land for land. We won't hold out 1 year. Okay, but let me ask my question. Anyways, here's my question. The resume of this of our brother looks impressive, but when you are dealing with people who are ready to shred things, I think it'll be wise to take a look at it. Here are some of the interesting things I pick up. Not going further. You told us he started school at the age of probably 13, 14. And we read that for ourselves somehow. But he used 10 years to go from ABC, Promo 1, Promo 2, first grade. He took 10 years to finish high school, according to what we see here, because he entered the Cottington University in 2005. That was when he was 24 years old. That's when he entered Cottington. In 3 years, instead of the regular 4 years, he obtained his bachelor's. And that was 2009. So from 2009, he went on at the age of 29 years old, between 2009, 10, 11, to obtain his first master's. And then he went from 2011 again to 2013, where he was 31 years old when he obtained his second master's. And then from there, if you look on his stuff, you will see from 2011 to 2013 was when, at the age of 31, he obtained his second master's. But if you look on there, you will see from 2011, while he was obtaining his second master, he was doing 2011 to 2018 PhD. He obtained at the age of 36, 5 years after that. I hope you're following my timeline. And I put it in the chat room, so maybe somebody can pluck it up and send it to you. Now, I don't want to go into details, but since you know him a little bit more, tell us, there is something here that when he did his PhD, he wrote on his thesis was more so that he wanted to know why motorcyclists were making a lot of accidents in the country. I am concerned, given the fact that you are doing your PhD. Let me look at it one more time, please. Just one more time. Wisconsin PhD. Hold on. I'm trying to capture it for you. Then you go to do motorcyclists. I want you to explain to us, why was he so keen on the motorcyclists having accidents as opposed to something more to say? Let me put it there. He did his doctorate in environment and resources. I'm looking at it now, so I can't make a mistake again. Now, using the theories, he went on to study the government and how they, adopt with an OPT, an FDR development model, and why the model of development has endured for more than 100 years. But when he was doing his master, he went on to find out why these motorcyclists were making accidents. There is a disconnect there. Help me understand the brother a little bit more. Why are we not going? We got masters in public health. We go sit down to the land authority. Instead of helping with the Ebola and then coming on to help us with the COVID. You go to write your thesis, you at the Cottington Graduate School, you do your master's in public health, and I'm going to quote, your thesis research goes to say, quote, causes of motorcycle accidents in Liberia.
So far gone.
I'm struggling.
So far gone. In the academia, theories can be linked. It's not straight jacketed. So the man studied, he did his master's in public health. Do you agree with me that motorcyclist accident is a public health issue? This public safety.
Give me a correlation between the two.
This public safety.
Yeah, how does that relate to health?
So I am saying that in the academia, theories can be linked. Sometimes you use analogy to arrive at the understanding of some issues. So let's not make this discussion pedantic tonight. This is not a book thing. We are talking about the lives of people. We're talking about people living condition. We're talking about people living condition. We're talking about a country that is slowly disappearing in every shape and form. Earlier, you guys were talking about the drug situation here, which is a global issue, but it's more so pronounced in our country. We're talking about the lives of people, and politics plays a major part in that. Our children are dying for all these different causes, motorcycle accident, drug use, and all of that based on one problem, poor leadership. And so if somebody who has studied that, you want to look at why he did thesis, then well, that me and not college president to George, why the man wrote his thesis for certain thing when you are in different era. If the professors who were his thesis advisors, and thank God we have a doctorate degree person here, Francine, with educators, if his professors didn't deem it necessary, his thesis would have been rejected.
Yeah.
I passed and he got a degree.
Wait, guys, wait. Fagon.
Degree at
Wait 1 minute. Fagon, wait 1 minute.
What university has a website?
Madam Ganglo, wait. Madam Edith, wait. No, you were finishing your thing. We got Madam Edith as the guest. Councillor Lamik Bako, hold your peace. The woman who speaks for us.
I don't want to understand the
question. No, we have a guest. That guest is from your camp. So please, today you will hold your peace. The Lord will fight your battle today. Wait.
You can't control anything about any Gonglo. You need to it. But anyway, let me finish. According to his thesis, I'm quoting, findings indicated
that larger vehicles driver. Excuse me. In all fairness, Stanton, Dr. Francine, your thing, the way Fagon going at the right thing that will make our people understand what do you know the poor would even know.
But the second two probably have things.
Madam,
why you want to come dissect somebody thesis?
Madam Edith,
I don't think it's fair to our public.
Madam Edith from 12th Street, I surrender, I leave it. Now, una Fagon make and baby verse. So I'm talking at you again.
Dr. Richardson,
I'm sorry, we're going to Fadiga from, but I don't see Fadiga.
Yeah, so let me say Fadiga place, please.
Okay, quiet.
I beg you. Let me just. I just need to say something quickly.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, one would expect that we have a civilized discussion, but when you have people like Gibson Jeru then polluting the airway, it becomes toxic. But Gibson Jeru, who knows absolutely nothing about Jeremiah Kpankun, a man who started life struggle by himself at the age of 12 and made it in life, won election 3 times, became a very successful businessman. You should be one of the last person.
Continue.
I didn't talk to you. You should be one of the last person who will sit on the radio.
I thought Stendo just said we got to support everything with a test. Now you go to Gibson. You can respond. No, you don't stop me.
Stop, Councillor. Stop disrupting me. I didn't know you to be somebody who can be Councillor. I didn't know you to be someone who can stop disrupting the show. We are here tonight. We are here tonight discussing Ure Yakpaolo. Your Gibson Jeru took the liberty to insult the integrity of my vice standard bearer. I have the right to descend on him, and I will. Gibson Jeru, you should be the last person to accuse people of stealing falsely. We sat on this show to explain to the sorrow of all of us how the people lie on your child, and he was victimized for that. You don't think about that. You sit on the show and lie. Such childish play like Jeremiah Kun stole chicken, he stole goat. When the man started selling at the age of 12, you should take that kind of way petty argument, that kind of nuclear argument on the
beach.
Why
have to be nuclear argument? Why have to be nuclear argument stuff?
Because on the beach in nuclear we go
to
argue.
Move on and ask a question.
No, let me ask my question. I gotta go. I came in because
me, right? I
came in. No. Oh, wait. You want me to ask my question?
No, because now I see between.
No, leave the people again. No, you will not. You will not go on that. You will not go on that. Nima.
Gibson stole cow eat sweat you.
What's that?
Madam
Edith.
Yeah.
You would not leave me when you said that you came for me. Now you want to go on the other radio station in Nima County. We'll hold you to the end of the show. You're not going.
But the show will soon be over. The shows will be over 6 o'clock.
Now who told you you get our time?
6.
You get our time.
The moderator will soon announce the time.
You get our time.
We got 5 more minutes.
Madam Gonglo, let me ask you my question. Only 2 questions. And I will leave. Only 2 questions. I will leave. Thank you very much, ma'am. And you know very well, to clear the air, I don't know where Councillor Lamy coming from or Gibson. You are a very good person. We've been talking, we've been knowing each other. So we got to clear the air on that. I'm not worrying about the other 2 Gonglo's brothers. I want to talk to you. By the way, your brother too, Kelegbe too. I'm not worried about him either.
My brother, why you call Kelegbe too?
And I mean Kelegbe too.
His name is Emmett. Why you can't add the Liberian people? My people. Y'all lost too. Lost generation.
Wait.
Okay, so let me teach you how to pronounce it. And please don't make that mistake.
Okay, let me hear you clear.
Listen to the phonics. And everything is Kelebo. Kelebo. It's that simple. Kelebo.
Oh, okay. But the way from Newcastle we call it Klegbetu. So Kelebo and Klegbetu, now they say I don't know. But I will leave the man alone.
It's too far.
That's what man. I will leave him alone. So his name, let's elaborate. The man in Klegbetu, the man in Kelebo. Okay? All right. So let me ask you. Let me ask you this question, Mama.
Kelebo.
All right. Let's forget about your brother Nina. Let me ask you this question.
Move on. Famous if I can't pick you. Let's move on.
Madam Edith.
Yes.
Please correct me and don't hold this on me. Did you receive any funds from CDC to run against Prince Yedu Johnson? If the question have not been asked, let me ask it.
So I said here tonight, I gave a disclaimer. I am on this show with a mission, and my mission was clarified. I'm here to talk about the vice standard bearer of our candidate, simply because you, Stanton, I watched you yesterday, and you said, where the Gonglo people? I want to know, who is this Yapaulo? Who is he? Where he from? Who is he? And by the way, why Gonglo chose him? So I said, okay, that's my 2 topics right there. Who he is and why he was selected. That's the only thing I came to do on this show today. Here's my challenge to you. If you want us to discuss a plethora of national issues, I'm always available. Call me any day. But tonight, I don't want to answer that question. I will not answer that because I'm focused.
So you plead the fifth on that question. My next question. It's okay. You know you're my second.
Okay, if somebody give me money to run, y'all will see my name on the ballot, right?
My next question, Madam Edith. Have you been reached out by CPP? Did they reach out to you?
If I want.
In case, let me ask the question. Have CPP reached out to you in case your brother, Councillor Gonglo, in case that he don't make it to the second round, that you can support them?
Stanton, CEO, I got all the respect and admiration in the world for you. Because as a young man who came to this very strange country, vast country, when we come from our little library, we can be lost here, who made such huge inroad and progress. I know you know from working both in corporate America that even if, let's assume, let me just play the devil's advocate, assuming that a plethora of people had reached me, You think that they play, I can't talk here and say the other person call me, the other person call me, the other person call me.
Okay.
But to answer your question again, I bring you back to why I'm here tonight. I have a mission, I have a purpose, and I'm focused.
Let me ask you about
distraction.
Thank you. Again, I will still bring you back in. We'll talk national issue. My last question. Let's talk about Dr. Yakpawulo Ure.
Thank you.
Let me pose my question to him. I believe you have said and you have spoken as to why he was chosen by Brum 1 and now he's Brum 2. I believe you have said that. Where have he been in the political arena? Okay. Where have he been?
Where have I been?
No.
Since when?
No, Dr. Yakpawulo Ure.
Oh, where has he been?
Yes.
So, the thing is, there's local politics and there's national politics. Since Dr. Yakpawulo transitioned from these United States back to Liberia and started to work in the private sector, he started to do things in his district. He was recognized. And so he decided to start at his district level. This man was running for representative. You know how many people running for representative in this country? You will never know them because the 73 seats, some seat got at 25 candidates. Only the district they're running in, the people that will know them. So where he's been in Bond County local politics.
So, Madam Edith, I don't know what's happening. My dog's going crazy. But thank you for appearing, and because of you, I came on.
The dog know you get questioned about the barking and say, "Stop, Chief, stop."
Fadiga.
All right.
We didn't get Fadiga's question because we skipped right here.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Let me go. Thanks.
Okay, the dogs want you. Bye.
I'm going to turn it off.
You don't can't take all this show, man. There's some.
Yeah, we have 10 more minutes with Mrs. Madam Gonglo. So
the thing about the Gonglo people want to ask Gonglo questions.
We are panelists. We're supposed to ask questions. We are panelists. Don't forget.
Let me ask my question.
That give Fadiga respect.
I know.
I see Fadiga looking at her phone, so it looks like somebody has sent him questions. So that's
I don't take questions from people.
Okay.
I don't take questions from people. No, what I want to say, I'm still confused about this guy's identity. That's the first thing I want to establish. But until we can establish his identity, who he is, whether it's Yakpawulo or Ure, you say a lot of things about this man, but little is known about him in Liberia. I want you to name 3 good characteristics, things that he have done in the past, for which you can say this man will be the potential president of Liberia.
Thank you, Fadiga. I take it that you have your phone with me. Let's do it together. How about you just Google in this modern age? Just Google Yakpawulo, Ure Yakpawulo. If you Google him, you will. But let me answer your question. What he's done, I mentioned here in terms of tangible. Sometimes people say, "Oh, what have you done?" Some of the people who build bridges to where no water is.
I want you to be specific. Tell 3 things. 3 things
okay,
that is.
So listen. One, I will answer your question. 1, Dr. Yakpawulo built a factory, like a oil producing mini factory for his district, not in his town, not in his clan, in a different clan, but in the Zota district, and said, look, instead of our people going looking for a place to process their palm in the crude and primitive way, where you got to break wool, cook the palm, not beat it, all that one, because we grew up in the village, we know all that thing, boil the water, then you put on the fire and let it boil, you sit down before you take the oil from oil, it's how you actually produce palm oil. But he bought a mini machine that he donated to the people and said, okay, all you do, he doesn't have a palm farm. Bring your palm, your miller here. He said, you just bring the whole palm head, you chunk it in the machine, and it produces oil. He did that for his people. Dr. Yapawulo built a school in his town. Dr. Yapawulo also, besides being a university president and now college president, but before, vocational school, he also brought in many charging booths, like in the villages, because the poor can catch hard time with charging their phone. And he planted it in these villages so that people will charge their phone and have access to communication. Some of them children in America, they want to talk to them, but half of the time their phones are not charged. So he has this solar charging equipment that he installed for the villagers in several of the villages. You just charge your phone so you can have access to communication. There are many things he's done, but for me, these are just physical. What is most important is the educational aspect, because if you treat a nation, if you educate the youth of a nation, you've given them more value. They can take all your properties, but nobody takes what you know away. The knowledge you have, nobody can take it. Those who were educated during the war and lost everything, right after the war, they gained more than that back because they had knowledge. Those who were uneducated and got those property by hook or crook, and they damaged it and they burned it, they live in measure. Some of them died in poverty because they couldn't reacquire them. So for me, the most important thing Dr. Yapawulo has offered to Liberia in general is giving them the knowledge that he knows, transferring knowledge to the young people with integrity. On his website, he said education with integrity. Don't just learn the book. Don't just learn the trade. When you go to do the work, let your customer trust you. That's why his graduates are among some of the most employable technicians in Liberia today, because when they give
Madam Gongo, let me just stop you a little bit there.
So yes, we have about contributions. This man, he's a great young man, a great mind of our country that needs to be elevated. He's one of the unsung heroes that has done so much. But at the local level, we look at big names that mean nothing.
Can you please give Mr. Fadiga to do his follow-up?
I was just answering Mr. Fadiga's question. It's just that my answer.
I like everything
former minister or you?
Yeah,
I got time now. I thought we were going on forever and ever.
No. We have guests like you.
I'm just joking. Dr. Percy. No, I don't mean that.
7 o'clock.
Okay, Fadiga, your next question.
Yeah. As we get to know Yapawulo, Yure, or King, tell me about his public service record. I mean, I know these are from public. Does he have any past governmental experience? Because things that you are saying, if I have been sum of what you have just said, that this man, because he provided palm oil for his people and he provided some school I better know about, and something, so that qualified him to become president of the Republic of Liberia. Is that what?
Having said that, I'm going to answer your question because you were interested in knowing what he's done.
If it's there, then we want to know it, because if I'm looking at this man,
it is there. It is there.
I need something that will convince me that this man, when that 3 a.m. call come in the morning, that he will be the commander.
Of course. No, let me tell you this, Fadiga.
For palm oil doesn't call it for me.
Listen, Fadiga. Go on the internet. When you Google this guy, there is a Cameroonian woman. Listen, let me finish. There is a Cameroonian woman who is interviewing him. Do you know that woman is not a journalist? She is the deputy governor of Wisconsin. But they went to their postgraduate school together. My thing is, sometimes we don't sing the praises of the best and brightest among us. We look for the tiny little bit to bring them down. So what I'm hearing from you, Fadiga, is that they meant too good to be true.
No, I need more than palm oil.
That he's so good. Nobody's will be this good. What I'm hearing from you is that nobody's will be this good and serving the public.
No, I'm saying that it takes more than palm oil.
And you can't believe that he's this good, but yes, he is. Please believe it.
Mr. Fadiga, this is where we are going to move on to Muali, and then we'll have.
Most get a question for me or a dialogue too. More, you're my brother now.
No, to be honest with you, like I said from the beginning, most of those
more use the time to attack me.
Serious candidates. Hey, my man, give me a chance. For serious candidates, most of those they normally take to be running mate are people known to the public with known records, and that it makes it easier for us to cross-examine and critique them. But like I said from the beginning, King Ure Yakwaulo is not, to be honest with you, the first time I heard his name was when he was talked about on this show, that he was being tipped to be picked by Councillor Gonglo. So it makes it difficult for me to ask a question about King Ure Yakwaulo. I'm not going to go into his educational background. I don't know nothing about it. But my little disappointment is every time they ask you tough question about it, you say, go on Google, go on the internet. And this does not serve the public well because millions of Liberians don't have access to internet to go and be searching for King Ure Yakwaulo.
The reason why I said that Fadiga is because Fadiga is in America. You are in Liberia. You have access to people all over. You have access to the
University. But Fadiga is asking the question. It's not for himself.
You have access to
Madam, let me finish your question now. The comments.
We have thousands of Liberians watching. We have thousands of Liberians listening via the radio. And the questions we ask here is for them because I could just go in on the internet and type in King Ure Yakwaulo and I will see things and just read it for my own information. But like I said, it's going to be very difficult to ask a question about him. What you gave me is what I take. And what I think is that he is not somebody who is ready to be vice president of this country. Thank you.
Says who?
Okay. We're going to now go to Mr. Councillor Laporte, and then we'll go to Mr. Gibson to take us home. We'll have Miss Edith Gonglo.
Councillor Laporte.
I'm sorry. Mr. Pakor. Councillor Pakor will take us.
Yeah, but let me say this. I have provided all the information that I came here to provide. The only reason why I directed you to Google is because you keep asking other, questions that to some degree really has no bearing on this election. I saw somebody wrote and say, I thought that Councillor Gonglo was a serious man. I was really looking at it. Then you go take an unknown. So come on. We got people who are known in the public space, but known for what? So that people can be known for bad thing there. And we know that one there. We know plenty of people who the whole country know, but what they know them for? I'd rather be unknown and then my good things come out than to be known and known for all the bad thing that has kept this country down. Lastly, let me say this. Liberia, like all of you politicians and political actors and pundits usually will say, every election this country is at a crossroad. Every election we want change, but we never talk about tangible transformation. And change does not come outside of character. Your character precedes you. In fact, it is the determining factor for change. So we cannot ignore character. Some people say, we get time for character. You don't get time for character, then stop crying. Because leadership, good leadership, is about good character. They say, and one of the candidates like to use that, and truthfully so, even though he's not the one who coined that phrase or that quotation, but that your current behavior, right, will determine your future action. Past behavior will determine your future action. So, and Barack Obama's wife said it. The presidency or the vice presidency, none of that can change you. It only magnifies who you are, the character that you already have. So if you have good character, that's who you are. If you got tinted character and you are giving power, you get more tinted. So we got to be careful. I used to say in 1997 during Taylor's campaign, I said to electorate, and I say it all of the time, it has become one of my political mantra. Power on this physical earth is toxic. When it's placed in the wrong hands, it will be wrongly used against you who give the power. So we as electorate have to be careful to whom we relinquish our power, because it can be used against us. So character in this election matters. That's what I like to go on. And Dr. Ure has an unblemished character, and he's teaming up with somebody who is an icon of character in the Republic of Liberia. Even all of the opposition politicians will say that. The only thing someone they can say is, they may too good, but ain't get money. But leadership and election is not just about money. Changing the country is not about money. It's about the vision, it's about the plan, and it's about the character to implement that vision and the plan. And that's what makes Councillor Gonglo and Ure Yakwaulo the best team to provide the change and transformation Liberia needs going forward. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Madam Edith Gonglo Ware, for highlighting the vice presidential selection of.
I'll ask my question here.
No, she already finished closing, so we're gonna go on.
Let me
So
I will just stay and listen now. I'm answering no question again. Bye-bye.
Madam Gonglo would encourage you to please have Dr. Yakwaulo see the business office, because I think he will do himself some service to come and answer himself, because I feel like, having you did a great job answering questions. Answer some of the questions that I like to ask him is from a third party, from your party, from your vision, your thoughts. So let him come here so we can talk to him. Okay. Thank you. Okay, it's 6:16. We're gonna move on, and we want to just thank Madam Gonglo Ware for being here. Guys, there's a couple of things that happen in Liberia as well. I will go to the phone line probably about 6:45. So I just want to actually get your reflection on what you just heard and what you saw, just very briefly. The therapist inside of me always like to end something with getting your final thoughts on what we heard before we transition. That's what we do in group therapy. So go ahead. Oh, Mr. Falcon, you're back. You ran away, you came back. So, okay, give everybody 2 seconds, please. Let's just go around, and then we have to move on. That's an important loan situation that happened in Liberia. The loan was approved by the Senate, and some people have defected who we thought were going to sign on this loan. So I want us to talk about that, because we started this conversation yesterday. So, Mr. Falcon, go ahead. I want to give about 1 to 2 minutes closing up of this conversation we just had.
Honestly, let me say to my fellow panelists here and to the Liberian people, I have a great deal of respect for Madam Edith Gonglo Ware. Madam Ware consistently, continuously told us on this platform that she was going to remain focused, and she came here with a mission. She came on a mission, I should say. She came here to tell the Liberian people who King Ure was, or who King Ure is, I'm sorry. But I'm challenging each and every one of you, especially my colleagues on the panel, Gibson and Lamy. Madam Gonglo did not tell us anything apart from what we see on the internet. Madam Gonglo failed her mission miserably. If I come here and want to tell you about Mo Ali, I should tell you something that you don't know about Mo Ali. But every time you say, was Mo Ali hurt in a motorcycle accident? No, if you want to know more, go on the internet. Why did Mo Ali do this? If you want to read about that, go on the internet. Are you aware that he graduated at so time? That's what I read on the internet. I don't think, give me one instance in this interview that Madam Gonglo Ware said to you, I met him in Wisconsin. We spent 2 months together. We worked on a project. He's an easy guy. His wife is this. everything she told us here tonight is what she got from the internet as we did. So I'm challenging my colleagues from the Gonglo camp to tell us if she told us anything different from what they themselves read and we read. And I think if you come on a mission to introduce him to us, then what is it that you told us that we have not read or we don't know? Everything you told us is what is on the internet. It's on the website. It's on what he has on his resume or his autobiography. Nothing different. Absolutely nothing. So I don't think she helped him much. And if anything, she did him a disservice. At one point, Madam Moderator, you became frustrated. And you said, I think King needs to come here and come tell us. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not an investigator. But your statement speaks volume. Your statement to me, and I said to me, was interpreted to me, my brother can't talk for yourself because what a woman telling her is what we see here. Come and tell us a little bit more. And I think that's what happened tonight. I think she failed the mission miserably. And I think she should be telling us exactly something more than what is on the website.
Thank you, Mr. Falcon. We're going to move on to Mr. Jerry, which I'm sure has a different take on this. And
I certainly do. First of all, Falcon spent 10 minutes trying to ask one question about thesis. And I see his confusion because he never written a thesis before, so it was very hard for me to understand what he was talking about.
Stay away from the attack.
No, I'm not going to personal attack. I'm just saying I don't know how Falcon will come here after everything that Madam Ware explained.
The guy is crazy.
If you look on the main web, charging booths for the people in the district, you will not see the palm factory that he built. You will not see it there. It's not on the website. There's an extra thing that she said.
That's a lie. It's there.
Besides that, Councilor Gonglo is the one who did the pick. Councilor Gonglo has worked with this man before on the land rights, that it is a law in Liberia for land reform, for ancestral land belonging. This is one of the men's
It's work. On the website. He said,
man. You talking about
So yeah, please, Mr. Falcon. So actually, Mr. Jerry, I was wondering about that when he served as one of the commissioners.
Assistant land commissioner. He didn't serve as a consultant.
No, he spoke about land reform. What did he contribute to reforming the land issues in Liberia? Do you know that?
You need a mute
administrative assistant land commissioner of Liberia, February 2010.
When you're talking, nobody interferes. When we're talking, you interfere. How you do that?
Why you lying for? Why you lying at small beginning?
Okay, keep talking, Jerry. You got about another minute left.
Okay, thank you. You said Madam Ware did not say anything new to you. I'm telling you some of the things she said. But listen, I was just talking about, let me just respond to that question you asked. The man assisted the process to create a law in Liberia that our forefathers will no longer lose their land that they own ancestrally. Don't you say thank you to this man at least?
No.
A law now. There wasn't a law. He started the process and he ended it by the law being passed in Liberia. Can't we say thank you for protecting our people ancestral land? Okay.
Do we know the name of that?
No.
Law? Mr. Jerry, Mr. Gibson. I just want
to land rights.
Right, is that because there are laws that are passed in land business?
I'll take the picture and send it to you.
Okay, all right, good. Thank you. I'm gonna go to Mr. Well, we have time limitation here, so sorry. You did a great job. So let's go to Mr. Fadiga, and we'll come back to Lamin Parker because I don't want to have in order, speaking. So go ahead, Mr. Fadiga.
Okay, what I wanted to say was people don't have questions for Madam Ware tonight, but thank you that you didn't have questions. Thank you.
Well, I certainly had tons of questions, and I'm still concerned about Mr. I don't know whether it's Yuri or Yakwawuro.
But your name, Hussein Fadika, Uganda. I don't need to call UJ. Who questioned you about that?
Well,
You got another leader called UJ.
Mr. Gibson, you are doing the exact same thing you are
I put it in the chat room. Go look at it.
Of doing. You interrupting.
Thank you. So I try to do some research and interesting it, Madam Gonglo way. Wanted us to do a research to do a Google search. But usually Google search people with identity. This man doesn't have an identity based on what we know right now, because he has some mysterious identity. I did the Yakpawuro. Apparently Google is not familiar with that name. I think that was another disgraceful part. And then I did a Yakpawuro Ure. That even became even worse. I think I was a little lucky when I went on the Emmanuel Ure, which seems to be the document. But I don't know why this man, people live with family members. I don't know why he's so fascinated with the Ure Yakpawuro and trying to add it to him. But there is something mischievous going on there that we will get to the bottom of. I know that, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. We'll do some research, more research now that he's out there, to find out who this man is. Because we do not want to have the similar situation where we have Buffer Chima, Jalal Lahim came from America with a doctorate degree, and the next thing he's Buffer Chima, and now he's the Speaker of the House. So we do not want to have a repetition of that, but I'm concerned about this man's identity. I don't know what he's hiding or what they are hiding, and all we got tonight was Google search, and I don't think that what empower or to be president. So
thank you, Councillor Lamin Pakoy.
I put the second one there about the land, please, in the chat room.
We can't hear you, Mr. Councillor Pakoy.
In America and Boakai in America, people have picture up. Your people are picture up. Communists in America and Boakai in America. We want to see the two leaders in America. Please.
Interrupting you, Mr. Jeru. Councillor Lamin Pakoy. We can't hear you, Mr. Councillor Pakoy. We can't hear you. Please ask them to fix your system in there. We are not hearing you. You're speaking and we are not hearing you. Okay. Yes, we're still not hearing you.
So since we can hear you, can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
You must please do that that land team, yeah, administrative assistant and the research work. I put it in the discussion chat room. So
I am not going to concern myself much with the name change, but I can understand why others are concerned about it, because they don't want a recurrence of the Jalal Lahini case, because as we understand it, Jalal Lahini is not the one who got the doctorate degree. It was another person who is called Buford Chambers, and that person passed off. Jalal Lahini adopted the name because he claimed the person's PhD. I know absolutely nothing about King Ure, and I will not assume that that is the case. I assume that he's a brilliant young man, and so I don't know him to say anything negative about him. But what I do know is that
King Ure.
Yeah, King Ure. If you are little known,
yeah, man. Stop interrupting.
If you are little known into the politics, it becomes a little bit of disadvantage to you. When I hear people say, you're being known, those that are known, they are known for bad things and this and that. You don't have to be known for bad things. Politics is an art by itself, it's an experience that you have to gain by itself. And if this person doesn't have it within them, I applaud Councillor Gonglo for taking a young person, but I would think he took him to introduce him to politics. And it tells me that, even Councillor Gonglo himself
is not prepared to become president in this term. The both of them want to sell themselves at this stage. Councillor Gonglo, you know, we know him for other things, to being a brilliant lawyer and all those kind of stuff. Now he wants to tell the Liberian people in this 2023 that he wants to be president, maybe in 2029, and also introducing King Ure to us so that we can know him. Then in the future, we'll start to talk about him. And Madam Edith Gonglo, try. I would think if you want to introduce a person, it should be somebody who have long-term interaction with the person. But, you know, telling us just what Google told us doesn't make any difference. So I think Lami and the CDC Gibson Jeru, who is pretending to be a supporter of Councillor Gonglo, will do well to bring somebody like a childhood friend with King Ure, so that they can better explain about him. And as time goes by, King Ure himself will come here and tell us who he is, his public sector experience, and all those kind of things. But at this point, I cannot say anything about him because I really do not know him. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councillor Lami? Hey man, if it's a 10 year, we're not hearing you. If it's a mic yet.
So you can hear me now? Am I being heard now?
Perfect.
So then you close that one. Is it better?
Yes, very well.
Okay.
Better with feedback. You know, two laptops or the two computers.
Yeah, well, that's the things that the best we can get right now.
Okay, so
Just mute yourself.
Go ahead. No, now you mute it. Now that you
because he has to unmute himself so that Lami can be heard.
When you open it back over there. Okay, so
you're when you thought our Bobo thought you were talking, so thought you reacted.
Okay, so it's really laughable that these three gentlemen will be scurrying behind, you know, the hedge to say, go bring a man, baby who friend. Because when I even say child who friend, go bring a baby who friend for you to come and explain about him. And the reason they say these things, these laughable, childish things, is because they got nothing negative to say. If people have negative things to say, today we're not here at the end of this discussion.
No, but I was honest with you. I say I don't know him, so I can say
Don't do that. Don't do that. They got nothing to say. And you just need Fadiga, who can be always talking tribalism. The tribalism issue disappeared from here today. It disappeared. You can't raise that issue. Zero. You know.
But we don't. The man doesn't have an identity.
Hey, my man, stop now. If you go on YouTube, Dr. Ure has a documentary. Dr. Ure has a documentary that is on YouTube, and that documentary has been played on local TV several times. The local TV stations in Liberia. So people who say the man is not known, there are local TV stations in Liberia that a lot of people who do not have cable TV, even the people who have cable TV, if you have Satcom, the free channels, the free Liberian channels, that documentary is played on the channels repeatedly. Dr. Ure's Land Rights documentary. So there are thousands of people in the country that have seen that documentary because it's on TV all the time. And if people pretending that they do nothing, because no, wait now, chief. You're pretending you know nothing about it, but it's fine. At least what it shows is that we put somebody forward who is unblemished. More than a week after they got to know that they is the running mate for Councillor Gonglo, the only thing they could be thinking about is let Councillor Gonglo not contest on LPP ticket because NEC has a rule. That's the only thing they could think about. The only thing they could think about is the man need.
You want to bring that argument? I thought we promised we're going to discuss that issue.
You bring it out, let's discuss it.
Husband, you are not. I was not interrupting you when you were talking.
One more second, Councillor Paco.
I will be one more second now. All the people have all the times to talk.
Oh, go to the full line.
One more second.
Yeah, but because you're just interrupting you.
Yeah, we gotta go to the full line.
And I will close by saying this. I, along with one colleague of mine, did the initial job interview for Dr. Yakpawolo. I will not call my colleague's name. The two of us did the initial job interview for Dr. Yakpawolo.
Why are you struggling with your VP name?
And Dr. Yakpawolo, how am I struggling with her name? So, and I will tell you, I'm not easily impressed. I can assure you that I'm not easily impressed. But I can tell you that Dr. Yakpawolo is unmatched. They will bring Dr. Yakpawolo here to explain himself to the Liberian people. That day, someone like Muali, who and myself being on the same side for many, many years, will flip. Even if he doesn't flip publicly, he will flip inwardly. I can assure you that. Dr. Yakpawolo is a brilliant person par excellence. And this is not, I'm not saying this because he agreed and he passed the job interview and he agreed to be the vice running mate for Councillor Gonglo. That's the reason, that's not why I'm saying it. I'm saying it because he is a very impressive person. I put an interview, a YouTube interview, into the chat room. Listen to that interview. Is Dr. Ure talking. It's just a 10-minute long interview. Listen to it. And you'll be seeing, you'll be hearing what you'll be getting when Dr. Ure sits in the studio in a few short days to come. Let's be serious. This country needs serious leaders. This country needs an inspiring story. This country needs an inspiring story like the story of Dr. Yakpawolo. This is a man who did not know how to read and write up to the time he was about 13, 14 years old. Okay. He was sent to be a blacksmith.
Going back to that story again?
He was sent to be a blacksmith. Mrs. Gonglo, why did he tell you about the blacksmith part? He was sent to be a journeyman as a blacksmith. He left it. He's far more prepared to be president in a country than the president used to. He's far more prepared to be president. We need honesty. We need somebody who's self-made and somebody who's an example. All these drugs, the people that you children are taking drugs in a society that you guys are talking about are more be pushing us to discuss. They need an example like Dr. Yakpawolo that will inspire them to say, I will not do drugs, I will go to school. Because at the end of the day, there's a benefit.
All right, thank you.
We need to push forward for these people. Thank you. More knows it. You will change. You're thinking more change.
We have an internet VP.
Yes. Oh, jeez.
Internet VP.
Listen, it was a spirited conversation. We're looking forward to Dr. Yakpawolo coming on the network after he speaks to the CEO so we can ask him questions. I'm particularly interested in the land deal, the land law. How did he contribute to that? What was some of his challenges and his success? And I also want to know how does his involvement in developing an oil palm business, developing a school, how does that commensurate to being the second in command of our country, the vice president? What skills did he learn that he thinks that supports his status for being the vice president of Liberia? That's all I'm interested in. But anyway, let's Yakasi, can you come back and let's take some calls that Liberian people speak to us about what they heard today about Dr. Yakpawolo, any questions they have about his vice standard bearer position. And so let's hear from the Liberian people.
Okay, so the numbers are 0777 771 0777 771 0555 101075. The numbers to put it through. Let's go to the line. Good evening, your name and where you join us from?
Hello, how are you? My name is Abbas. I'm calling from John Phoebe.
Abbas, let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you for the show. I hear Honorable Tiawono people say the male contested in his JCC voter and he never win. How will you believe in that man that you were able to deliver, I don't know, that more country or which country to you? How will you believe in that man? And for fact, let me tell you that my first time to hear that man, I've been in this country for 20 years. For 20 years.
I'm first time hearing your own name too.
Hey,
you got nothing to be on that show.
Okay, thank you, caller. Sorry.
You got to be talking, your friend is talking.
Okay.
You got to be careful how to talk. You don't know me. Be careful. You say you're lawyer, you don't know nothing about law. How can I be the key, you know, we in this country?
Thank you.
Thank
Let's
you very
talk
much.
to another
Next
person.
caller, please.
Hello, your name and where you join us from?
This is calling from Toronto.
Let's hear you.
Well, you didn't know Madame Gonglo well. And she said the traditional name of Tiawan Gonglo is Keteku. So better around calling Keteku Party. So what you say we something called Gonglo, but that's the traditional name. The Gonglo that ain't going anywhere. Madame Gonglo, whenever Madame Series, this is early trap. She's trying to reduce the vote of Waka. Trying to find influential people who in their mind in Nimba country, they can stay in the way of Jamaica to reduce our vote so that they can get the air to CDC. Those people that they are not contenders, they are participants. They are participants. They are not there to win election.
Thank you. Let's hear another person. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Hello.
Your name and where you join us from?
Okay. I'm Edwin Zuma from FE. So I will tell you both the size. And the size is the size. Sometimes it hurts. But it's better to have it too. You see those two guys that are on Willow Spoon show, they say they representing Councillor Gonglo. I will tell them point blank. None of them knew Gonglo more than me. Gonglo and myself, we grew up together. In fact, we entered the university together. We were in the same dorm, the dorm over Jalatan. We were in the dorm when Samia Kanya Duo overthrew, the government. But the way, specifically the man who his name, I can't really correctly pronounce his name, he wouldn't come in that studio to attack the opponent. And we thought as a Nigerian, we should be together to fight that heavy ton of bush animal 390 nation to kick me out.
Thank you. Let's hear this other person. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, good evening. I'm Anderson Jr. Alas Amos Pikin, Secretary of the University.
Let's hear you.
Thank you to Madam Ile Gonglo for the explanation today. Actually, I didn't call them to let it talk about what she said, but I called to address one of your panelists, Jeroen, Mr. Jeroen. I may not get it right. Jeroen Gibson, or Gibson Jeroen, any one of them. Actually, let me be honest, in fact, they're respectful to the Senate Bureau and the Vice Senate Bureau of the Unity Party. And I think if you want to win people on your side, you need to convince, you need to discuss the issue like Councillor Fagor. Councillor Fagor always discuss the issue plentifully. But if you're on the show and acting the one person losing, I don't think you will be winning people on the side of the councillor. So I think you need to change a dimension, you need to change a topic, and try to see how they can respect people like far ahead of him politically and how far have been successful in Liberia politics. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, good evening. This is Mark Gallo calling from the GSA Road.
Doug, you are muted. Yeah, let's hear you.
This is Mark Gallo calling from the GSA Road.
You said one more call, right?
Yes.
Let's hear you, Mark. Let's hear you, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the discussion is so interesting. Just following it or keying it. But I want to solicit that the Honorable Yuri himself, comes on the show. I want to ask him some pertinent questions concerning his education sojourn. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna move on. It is 6:43. We're just going to talk briefly. We began talking about the senators, which I think is very important for Liberians to know who voted for the $65 million loan, putting to me our children, the future generation of Liberia, in debt. And we need to speak about this. So I know we don't have enough time. I really wish we had time to sort of give our ideas. But I read, and we talk about Senator Wise, who actually led the pact for the defectors. And initially they were going to, from what Moali said and what I read in the paper, that initially they had some concerns about this loan. And then in the end, they voted for the loan. So I'm curious, why? What happened over there, So let me start with you, Mr. Jerry. We'll talk about this again tomorrow. Let me start with you because this is very important to me and to Liberians.
It is important. First of all, those of us who reside in America, we know that during the lame duck time, there are certain kind of positions that they don't confirm, like the justices of the Supreme Court and other major positions. Always they say, well, you are in your lean down section, so we cannot confirm this. So George Weah is going to election in the next 3 months, and he's signing a $65 million contract, and lawmakers are looking at it, and this will be passed on to, what if Joshua doesn't win? This debt is passed on to the next president. And that is the crux of the matter here. Those lawmakers who voted, like my senator, Marshall Dennis, he's sedition, so I expect him to take such an action. But there were other people who said they are opposition. There are other people who say they believe in the sanctity of governance, but they voted for it. I don't know, how do they expect, what would be the explanation for approving a $65 million loan agreement that a president is bringing before you when he is in the lean duck section? I don't get it. I think this is a bad mistake, and this is the kind of mistake that we have been having over the years. From time to time, our lawmakers, they do not think positively about the actions they take. They have other considerations. I mean, I don't have any evidence to show that they receive money to do that, but it has happened in the past. If the executive will share money around and people go and vote their noses and not their head. And this is the thing that is being given. We need someone in the executive. We need someone in the legislative that can say no to these kinds of things.
Thank you.
I think Councilor Gongo will do well for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Liberians, I want you to know that this loan says, and then we're going to go to Councilor Parker, this loan says that it is to lay the institutional and policy foundation. So we don't have foundational, institutional, and policy foundations in selective growth sectors. Where is the selective growth sector? I want to know what policy and institutional foundation they are talking about, while promoting transparency and accountability in the public sector. Don't we have a LSCC law that we are struggling with in terms of putting the who's tenure and who's not tenure and all of that stuff? And now they are telling us so that's what they want. Part of this law would be to promote transparency and accountability in the public sector. So, Councilor Lami Parker, please tell us more. I just wanted to let Liberian people know what it seems to be.
The passage of that loan, I think, is a blow to the Unity Party, especially where they made it a kind of campaign premise to put a stop. Like what Gibson was just saying. Normally, any kind of times, especially where you just like or half a year away from a change of government. Let's forget about election. Because even after election, they will still go for like 2 months. But you half a year from the change of government is not a time where major decisions are made. When you stake your reputation to something and you say you're taking leadership, you're taking charge of governance even before you win, you should be prepared to make sure what you say goes. So, I mean, the grand stood about all these 15 or 16 senators that they had that were going to be serving as a kind of conscience blocker to all the the bad things the CDC will do between now and the end of the tenure of the government. I think that's the major issue of failure. The purpose of the loan, I mean, is something that we can argue, just as you said. I mean, what's the transparency in a country in the first place? You know, before you talk about somebody going to take money, especially money $65 million, to say they will be fostering transparency or stuff like that.
Absolutely.
The passage of that loan also points to the governance challenges that we have, and the serious governance challenges that we really need to do something about. It tells us that the regular politicians are not people to trust. That's what it tells us.
Yeah.
Never put your faith in regular politicians, because when it suits them, they will stay with you. When it doesn't suit them, they'll go in the other way. And that's the reason why you see, even the discussion that all the guys been talking about, oh, they don't know Europe because they know him, so he's ready to be vice president. It's better to deal with somebody who you know is trustworthy in private life and in a public doing than these political guys who are basically concerned about how much money they will make and what kind of deal they can cross, or if they're angry with one person, like all the group of corruption king kongs that jump behind the Unity Party, you know, and stuff like that. So I think it's a big blow. It shows that they didn't provide any real leadership to those senators that said they were going to serve as a conscience blocker to the CDC.
Thank you. Yeah, and just to clarify a little bit, Councillor Papo, and then I'm sure Mwali will add to this. Mwali stated that the senators met with their presidential candidate, Vice President Joseph Boakai, and his goal was to influence those senators to vote no. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're alluding to?
That in the do you remember when Senator Dillon appeared the last time?
Yes.
Yeah, that in what Senator Dillon said, he ratted up about, I think 14 or 15 senators, and they were in a bullish mood that night that we have so many people on our side and we will use this thing to start. Because I asked Senator Dillon, do you have the votes? And he started naming people. He said 4, but then later on he was able to name up to, I think, like 15.
Okay.
Which in my mind, I know 15 is not enough, because with the vice president who breaks the tie, if you got 15, he can do anything you want, they will still pass it.
Yes.
So I mean, that's the thing. Especially where Honorable Boakai met those people, and they committed to him that they will act a certain way. Then they went beyond him and did what they did. That's a red flag.
Let's go to Mwali to add his conversation.
I will not go into responding to Councillor Pago's lack of understanding of how the legislature works. But I will say, firstly, I will express a total disappointment in the 2 UP senators who voted for that loan. It is a disappointment that if I were making the decision at this moment, because the 2 of them are contesting,
I join you at the end as well.
I would definitely, if I were making that ultimate decision in the party, in the party's leadership, I will push for them to lose the party's ticket. Because if we are optimistic about winning election, and just the fact that you see a loan that says to strengthen policy institutions, blah, 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 in a country like Liberia that is so underdeveloped, that doesn't have role, and you vote for it, it means that the party you are a member of that is seeking the presidency, you are undermining that party's success in the future. You will not contest on the UP ticket. And I'm saying this very openly as a UP partisan, as a disappointed UP partisan in Senator Komene B. Wisse and Senator Henrik Topa, who just rejoined the party, for voting for that loan. And I am even more disappointed that they will, in a brazen manner, disrespect the standard bearer of the party on 2 different occasions. And they have given the teeth to Councillor Pago to bite tonight at our standard bearer. Because if they did not disrespecting in that brazen manner, Councillor Pago would not have said that. Others who are not members of the Unity Party. 7 other senators plus Senator Moi, they listen to him. It is not about whether the vice president is there to break the tie or not. It is about you standing your ground to do the right thing. Because alone I say strengthen policy institution, what the policy institution, if you are saying we are taking $65 million as a loan to build 65 kilometers of road and people stand against it, the country will come at you. And we must see the road being built. What kind of policy institution they come in strengthen?
Yes.
It takes seriousness to fight corruption. So let me say I am disappointed in them. And you know, I am calling on my party leader to disrobe them of the party's ticket. They should not. A person who disobeys the party's instruction, especially in a kind of critical national issue that talks about the future of the country, should not be contesting on the party's ticket.
Yes, thank you. So let's Liberians keep in mind it is $65 million a loan that we have to pay back.
You spoke very well.
A loan that we have to pay back. So this is not grant. This is not nothing free.
We should clap for him.
Our generation will have to pay for it. Mr. Fagon, please give us the final word on this for tonight, because we'll be coming back to speak about this. So give us the final word, and then we're going to just wrap it up and do our closing.
Let me clear my throat. First of all, let me say to my brother Gibson Debbie Jeru, please, man, it is unfair for you not to be a court, a police officer, a judge, or a jury, and that a person who have not been convicted of stealing a goat or a chicken, you just look at the person and say the person in that room, the person stole chicken, this person stole goat.
The man was arrested and detained. He was arrested and detained.
My dear brother,
he was
Charles
also
Taylor
arrested
Rebels.
and detained.
Okay, please.
Excuse me. Listen. You always come here at my time to talk. You want to attack my education.
Political candidate, you're wasting your time.
No, that's what I'm saying. You always come here and attack.
Okay, Mr. Jerry,
during the war.
And then we'll do our closing.
If your green wire ain't cut, you need to connect it back. The man said during the war, they swam across the river to go back in you. The rebel, you tell rebel team, the men were arrested and detained. Were you a rebel? Now your rebel fashion arrested?
Let's move on now. We're talking about the loan now.
Connect your wire. Connect your wire. Okay. Yeah. Now, let me state for the record. In February of this year, the Senate passed the budget. President Weah on April 12th, thereabout, signed into law that offended me. I want you to listen, because on Monday, that's the point I'm coming from, and I will play the video and the audio for the people to hear. In February of 2023, the Senate passed the budget. It went to the president. President signed it into law. It became law around April 12th, thereabout. I'm giving you facts. The 65 million was captured in that budget. How do you pass it into law? It becomes law. The people expect it. It is binding because it is a law. It is already captured. And then you come back today. On Tuesday of this week, they said that they wanted to know the source of the loan. I'm quoting. And the purpose of the loan. 2 words.
Wow. So after
they wanted to know, they wanted to know where the loan was coming from and what was the purpose of the loan. That was last Tuesday. You don't know the source of the loan. You don't know the purpose of the loan. But you capture it in the budget and you pass it. How did you do that?
Good point.
Then today you come up now. On Tuesday, you say we want to know the source and the purpose. When they came to session on Thursday, there was no source, there was no purpose. It brings me back to where they said that the loan agreement was titled Resilient Recovery Stand-Alone Development Policy Financing. Development policy financing. You want to finance Lamek Pago policy, or you want to pay our road? You want to finance policy, or you want to pay our schools? Whole day Lamek discussing policy. Have you ever heard him talk about money for policy?
It's like
always talk about the policy that will bring money.
It's like
these people have disgraced us. Even Lamek, like I get all hard time here, have talked about policies that will improve the life of the Liberian people in the area of agriculture that will help to generate money. And look at what kind of people they take loan for policy. How do you take loan for policy? I'm going to conclude on this. I'm not a member more of the Unity Party. I am a supporter of Joseph Newman Boakai. I started off by asking myself that Tolba was vice president for 19 years. And he came back to be either Liberia's best president or one of Liberia's best presidents after 19 years of serving as vice president. Today, Madam Salif used this man for 12 years and does not think he should be. I think he should be. But I'll say to you, Dr. Francine, those people that signed that thing, I have laid the basis for my argument. That 65 million was already agreed upon. It was law.
Yeah.
They came back now to sign something that they have already signed on for.
It made no sense. It's not adding up to me.
At the end of the day, all those people who put pen to paper and betray our confidence,
yes.
I am a supporter of Joseph Newman Boakai. I will go after them during these elections vigorously. And if I don't succeed on all, at least I will succeed on 90% of those people. They will not go back in that building. So help me God.
Thank you. Let's move to our 1 minute closing. 7:01. As you probably know, this is the CPP convention weekend. I have places to go, people to see. And so let's wrap it up. I'm going to start with you, Fariga. And then I'll be the last to close. Give you 1 minute, please. I gotta go. I gotta guess.
They say Fariga don't go back to you.
Oh! Let me center Raz Fagon. So 6 o'clock this morning, you know, usually I go to bed late. See Fagon call for Fagon. Say no, they must be serious. I call. Say my man, they say you go on the other, you go by on the other side. Did you sleep at where I said? I said, no. I'm with Team JMB. I'm on the head of that tree. We're not going anywhere just now. But this loan reminds me of Eto and Igbo Math loan. And I will close on this. These guys have our legislature, they're not even making the president. Look, the president is as effective as the legislature. And I think the reason why we have this kind of precedent is because our lawmakers have aided and abetted the criminality, the looting of that country. And something has to be done. I don't know how we're going to straighten that legislature, but honestly, Liberia's biggest problem, I'm not even thinking about the executive, is that $65 million that we're giving one group of people to continue to plunge that country down the drain. It has to stop. And I will break another. It's not going to be a breaking news, but I'm just going to give a hint that there is an important development going on that we have been investigating. This will be bigger than the Eto and Igbo Math loan. It will be coming. So it will be bigger than that.
Breaking news! You heard it here on.
It's going to be bigger than that. Bigger than Eto and Igbo Math loan.
That news.
There is something coming on, and we're working on that story. Hopefully, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we should have it. This will decide this election. This particular news. And I'll close on that. But it's not about the broom, man. So you guys can rest assured. It's not about the broom.
Stay tuned. Okay, I'm gonna go to Mr. Jiru again. Just 1 minute of closing, then go to Lami Fakoi, and then I'll do my closing. Then we'll go on. It's 7:03 already. I told you I got places to go, people to see, and things to do.
Thank you very much.
For you,
yes.
Thank you very much. You know, people get very rough when you talk about their candidates, and this is the reason why it's not good to get a flawed candidate. When you get a candidate who is very flawed, people always have issues to discuss about them. And people, they always caricature it as insult, disrespect, rude. All of these things don't move people like us. Fadiga, yeah, brother, we fought a great fight, but we are still friends. They did not move me. I've been in the team for a long time. But let me just warn those of you, like people like Fagon, let me warn you. If you continue to attack my personality, I am deadly. Don't do that. I'm telling you. I don't
know. Mr. Fagon, please, no interruption.
You
have 1 more minute.
You have your time. You have your time.
Guys, we
are feminists here. We're not gonna be fussing among ourselves.
I don't want no personal attack. I can't wait to you. So go to my candidate. If you see bad thing about candidate, talk it. But when I see bad thing about your candidate, boy, I will talk it. Because you made bad decision always. You get us in the problem. You voted for Joshua. Joshua messed up. You're coming for somebody there again who will not do nothing for the country. That is why we will continue to remind you. And when this election is over and the wrong thing begin to happen, just in case your candidate win, we'll remind you again that you are the bad decision makers. And we'll continue to tell you that.
Sammy Parker, 1 minute, and then I do my closing, please. I beg you.
Well, I talk about the money better. I talk about the money better, so that means I'm supposed to close too.
I thought you're closing, man.
How am I closing with Peter says 5 million, Madam Moderator?
You want to talk about me? Then you close. Then you coming to me.
The last person.
I mean, I think we should try to be as tolerant as possible of each other. Just the other day, we were discussing threats against this station by government operatives, and sometimes when you see the way some of the people react when you say something about their candidates that they do not like, you wonder whether when they get to power they will not do the same thing the CDC people are threatening to do to Spoon TV or Spoon FM or this show. We have to be able to tell those of you who support the Unity Party, your goons out there, you got to be able to reach out to them and tell them that we have to be different from the CDC people. The way the CDC people react to things, we as supporters of the Unity Party can react the same way. Because tomorrow, when we replace the CDC with y'all, by the time somebody says something against your people that they don't like, they go and burn the passing station too. We have to stop that. Because I don't see that behavior much different from what the CDC people are doing the last time that were condemning.
Thank you.
And I will close by saying Dr. Emmanuel Ure Yakpawolo is next to none of all the VP candidates. And I hope we can organize a VP debate so we can see the distinction between him and all politicians. I hope we can also organize a presidential debate, if not presidential town halls, where we can see the distinction between all the other politicians that are running for office and Councillor Gonglo. I hope we can do that because we have to sharpen the distinction. We have to sharpen the contradictions between and amongst the different candidates so the Liberian people can actually be sure what they are buying. And I will close by saying that what Fadiga can always say to Eugene, we shouldn't sell bad products. You know, they sold a very bad product to the people in Liberia and they voted for it. Now he's run away and on the other side. So we have to help to make sure that Liberian people don't buy another bad product again. So Spoon has the biggest platform. Spoon should make sure that it creates a condition where we have all these people come in so that we can sharpen the contradiction amongst them and between them. Thank you very much.
Councillor Paco. I'm going to take this opportunity to speak because I've just been passing around and you guys.
I thought closing now.
I'm going to close, then we'll go to you and Fago, and then Moali. They will close because I got to go.
I thought it's going to be the last to close.
No, I'm not doing it because I've been waiting. When you go in the back, you eat nothing. I eat nothing, I drink nothing, and then you.
But Cummins said leader should be the last to eat.
Listen, let me talk about Mr. Cummins. I ask you to amplify his.
No, Mr. Cummins said leader should be the last to eat.
I'm going to tell you about Mr. Cummins. Mr. Cummins tonight, actually yesterday, Mr. Cummins was at Harvard University, okay? And when we talk about sharpening the distinction, he was speaking on the road to the recovery for Liberia, looking at how Rwanda's model was used to make them a class 1 country. So you can tell when people in the international world see leadership, they respect it, they know what it is. Someone who can, weed between Liberia leadership and also the American and the international world leadership. That is sharpening the distinction. That is something that Mr. Cummings has that I don't think other political candidates have. So I thought it was a good presentation that he gave at Howard University. He talked about the critical need for new leadership in Liberia, political stability, infrastructure development, economic growth, and social reconciliation. He also talked about economic diversification, the private sector development, and value addition were critical to reduce dependency on like the oil companies, on the mining companies, the rubber companies. We got to move away from that. That's what he was saying. We maybe go into a more service-oriented business. If you are in the Philadelphia, Maryland, New York area, Delaware, please attend the CPP convention. Is starting tonight. It's going to be held tonight at 19 Adams Drive, Burlington, New Jersey. That's where the meet and greet will be. And then tomorrow we're going to have Sarah visitations by Mr. Cummings. He's going to be meeting Liberians and passionate lovers of Liberia in the diaspora. He's going to be in Trenton. He's going to be in Bucks County. He's also going to be in Philadelphia. And then we have our grand ball. I will be there. Many others will be there. Will be dressed very well and also usher in Mr. Cummings. A lot of he's supported by a lot of women. So come on and see us usher Mr. Cummings to the ball that will be held at the African Cultural Center at 2106 63rd Street, Philadelphia, in the heart of Philadelphia, where Liberians tend to be. On Sunday, there'll be a worship service at the African United Methodist Church. Let me just see the address here. I believe that is 15 South Broad Street in Trenton. So you can see Mr. Cummings is, really meeting a wide range of Liberians in the tri-state area. In our area, we call it tri-state. So we look forward to seeing you. And obviously, he is the best candidate in the race right now. So I'm going to go to Mr. Moali. Please go ahead, do your closing, and then Fako, and then we're going to leave this place here today.
Yeah, definitely. Councillor Bagoy, Gibson Jeru, and Madame Wetra had to say King Ure, and 5 callers tonight who basically have never heard his name, and they don't think that these people are doing well to say King Ure. One caller wants to ask King Ure particularly about himself. And, reacting to Councillor Bagoy saying, the UP, 11 years, no UP person has ever gone to a radio station to say anything. We are intellectually strong in this country and we are unmatched. When you come after us, we will go after you. And that's intellectually. That's why we are on every platform. We are at every intellectual center. And so it will do you good to continue talking about King Ure. In fact, just before the show could end, we all even forgot about King Ure until you call his name. And you should continue calling King Ure's name so that people can
King Ure Yakpabro.
Hey, Father God. Okay, thank you, Moali. You've done right.
No, I'm not done. So last
you remember when Cassius placed his name to Muhammad Ali, when the people refused to call it at the same thing he's doing. When Cassius placed said he was Muhammad Ali.
So on July 2 is the birthday of the mother of the rescue team. The Busi there, Senator Yombi Kanga Lawrence, will be converging at the Farmington Hotel, and she's intended to raise 100,000 United States dollars, the rescue mission. On July 6th, the rescue train picks up for Magibi and will be there on July 7th. The rescue train headed by Rescue 1
Ambassador Boakai goes to Bon County. And from there, on July 8th, the rescue train will be in Nimba County to officially present rescue to Honorable Senator Jeremiah Kpankun, the man whose name sending reverberation across the country. And Gibson Jeru is in worry. But Gibson, I can tell you, good people will be accommodated in a very good government. Councillor Kpagoy is a very good and strong person. I would particularly advocate for Councillor Kpagoy and
thank you.
Fight for us in this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mwali. Mr. Fagon, please take us home.
Please accommodate me. Yeah?
You know, Dr. Francine, I'm always laughing. I'm the one creating the most fun on the platform. But when a man sits on the platform and call another person a goat roll, the man stole goat, the man stole chicken. Then when they come to tell you, don't do that, then you say, oh, I can fight. Who know you in Liberia? Even the crap will call me Monkuson, meaning I'm the wicked devil. The Basso people, they call me wrong penny.
I see why you get for
the parent people call me Kakakolo. The people call me Beya Betuma. The white people call me Kabalonoi. I'm the devil's son-in-law. I'm married to the devil daughter. You want to talk about fighting? Now you can fight intellectually. Let me that story. I was in the Methy for 3.5 years. I close on this note. Like it or not, there was a man who served Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as vice president for 12 years. If anything had happened to her, plane crash, car accident, coup d'etat, he would have succeeded her and become our president. After 12 years, in order for him to become a president, they fool some of us. They say, oh, they said they so we want change. I was supporting Benin Ayure, but God was supporting Friends of Bromsky. Where you want to say I jump from here, jump there. From Friends of Bromsky, he supported Bromsky in the Liberty Party. I supported Jawia. What you want to say? You and myself with the same political hope of Joe, we hustlers. If that's what you want to say.
30 seconds, Mr. Fagon.
In my 30 seconds, I want to say to you, we are trying to chart a new course for our country. And I close by saying, Kumis was brought to Liberia in 2007 by Madam Sirleaf. True or false?
I knew that is false. I knew you were going to ask.
Let me finish now. You probably want me to apply what you going to
we'll say it to them. I'm not going to the program today.
Clemens Moniba was brought to Liberia in about 2008, 2009. He served as Minister of State without portfolio and head of the Presidential Delivery Unit. And he negotiated all the 66 bogus agreement. True or false? True. We saw Robbie. We saw Robbie last night. Robbie was invited to Liberia by Madam Sirleaf.
You crazy.
Robbie was the deputy P-man at the airport. True or false? True. At the end of the day,
20 seconds, 10 seconds going down to 20.
Okay. All right, can we finish? Jawia, that Madam Sirleaf, number 1. Kumis, number 2. Karen Maniba, number 3. Robbie Nanka, number 4. They can cry the whole Methy. I will jump and butt over all of them. I will get an airport referee without seeing them. The only person in that team, even though Gonglo was put in a position by Madam Sirleaf, Gonglo has always been a staunch person to support JMB, and Gonglo voted for JMB in 2023, October 10. Gonglo will vote for JMB.
So somebody just asked, and we're going to end the show. Somebody just asked, they didn't bring Joseph Boakai, true or false? So bye-bye. I'll tell you. Yes.
No, you can't bring a person.
I was never politically active.
She ran
I was not politically active.
I'll see you later.
I was not politically active in 2017.
You wouldn't may respect that. I'm Mo Ali. He stay with party.
Yeah, because Mo Ali said he So
yeah, I can always tell people, even outside this show, I tell people, I can find more Ali, more authentic, more
Ali,
than
please
any
call
of
me
you.
and say you were carried here. Yeah, we want no problem.
More Ali, thank you very much. You have a very good
You staying or you going?
Okay, so folks, that's it. Thanks for watching the Spoon Talk this evening. Join us tomorrow when we hope to bring you another edition of the program. My name is Yekezi Zobel, bidding you a pleasant goodbye.